विश्वमेदिनि विश्वविनोदिनि नन्दिनुते गिरिवरविन्द्यशिरोदिनि वासिनि विष्णुविलासिनि जिष्णुनुते भगवति हेशिति कण्ठकुटुम्बिनि भूरि कुटुम्बिनि भूरि कृते जय जय हे महिषासुरमर्दिनि रम्यकपर्दिनि शैलसुते सुरवरवर्षिणि दुर्धरदर्शिनि दुर्मुखमर्षिणि हर्षरते त्रिभुवनपोषिणि शङ्करतोषिणि किल्बिषमोषिनि घोषरते धनुजनिरोषिणि दितिश्रुतरोषिणि दुर्मथतोषिनि सिन्धुसुते जय जय हे महिषासुरमर्दिनि रम्यकपर्दिनि शैलसुते जय जय हे महिषासुरमर्दिनि रम्यकपर्दिनि शैलसुते जय जय हे महिषासुरमर्दिनि रम्यकपर्दिनि शैलसुते
श्रवरूढं महाभीमं दुराद्रष्टाङ्गरप्रदम् अस्य युक्तं त्रिनेत्रं च कपालकर्त्रिकाकराम् मुक्तकेशीं ललज्जयः पिबन्तीं रुधिरं चतुर्बाहु समायुक्तं वराभयकरं स्मरेत् चतुर्बाहु समायुक्तं वराभयकरं स्मरेत् काली काली महाकाली कालिके पापहारिणी धर्मर्थमोक्षदे देवी नारायणी नमोस्तुते धर्मर्थमोक्षदे देवी नारायणी नमोस्तुते काली 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 महाकाली कालिके परमेश्वरी सर्वानन्दकरे देवी नारायणी नमोस्तुते सर्वानन्दकरे देवी नारायणी नमोस्तुते सर्वानन्दकरे देवी नारायणी नमोस्तुते
ঘোরতিমেরো ঘন নিবিড় নিশীথে পীড়িত মূর্ছিত দেশে জাগ্রত ছিল তব অবিচল মঙ্গল নত নয়নে অনিমেষে দুঃস্বপ্নে আতঙ্কে রক্ষা করিলে অঙ্কে স্নেহময়ী তুমি মাতা জনগণ দুঃখ ত্রায়ক জয় হে ভারত ভাগ বিধাতা জয় হে জয় হে জয় হে জয় 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 হে
Hello. Hi guys. Let me know if the audio is coming. Hello. Yeah, the audio seems fine. Okay. It's I think reversed. I'll fix the mirror thing next day. Okay, guys. First day on StreamYard, so still finding around some things. Yes, TMC Jindabad, definitely. Yeah, that's the thing with free speech. You see, on NDTV and all the national mainstream channels, all these leftist intellectuals going around saying that Modi has screwed their free speech, and while they use their speech to say that their free speech has been strangled in some way, but you know that that's false, obviously, because of the fact that they are saying that their free speech is false. But learn from me. You know that free speech is really a problem in Bengal, because I don't even criticize Trinamool or our Pattharbaz brothers and homies all that much, because that's actually not possible in Bengal. We are a Sharia compliant state, and we have to keep it. We have to stay safe that way. Just few days back, someone was telling me that. Mm, you see, you should make a video on the fact that OBC votes were all the OBC reservations have been given away to our Patarbaz friends. So why don't you make a video on that? Even the guy from Indic Explorer, Vineet, he also sent me a message saying that you should make a video on this. So I told them that not happening. I'm not making a video on that. OBCs are still going to vote for Trinamool mostly. Some maybe now are going to vote for BJP, but let's see what happens. Uh, but a lot of them are going to show up in front of my house. They are going to find out where I live, and then they will show up in front of my house with a lot of sticks and threats. So okay, not going to happen in Bengal. Okay. Jai Hind dosto. Hello brother. All spoken about Adipurush. The only saving grace is the music. What is your professional opinion on it? म्यूजिक का कॉम्पोजिशन अरेंजमेंट मुझे मुझे बहुत अच्छा लगा. अजय अतुल का तो वो थीम म्यूजिक है. अजय अतुल इज माय फेवरेट कंपोजर अरेंजर, वन ऑफ माय फेवरेट अरेंजर्स एट लीस्ट इन टर्म्स ऑफ बेसिकली ऑर्केस्ट्रल प्रोडक्शंस. बट द मिक्सिंग इज रियली बैड. कंपेयर द मिक्सिंग क्वालिटी with even the latest Telugu production, that Hanuman movie, or any Bahubali song. Compare the sound quality, mixing quality, with any Malayalam, Tamil, or Kannada movie production, or Telugu movie production, mainstream, the better movies. Okay, compare the songs of Adipurush with four industries of these places. Okay, the mixing quality I'm saying. Then you will see that even in that sense, Adipurush's production is bad, which is why the first topic I wanted to discuss today is that Adipurush. I knew that Adipurush is bad, and I know how Bollywood works to some extent, and I know why this movie has turned out bad. It's not entirely because of bad anti-Hindu intentions. Yeah, they are general uh, ignorant liberals to a large extent, and a lot of them might have some definite anti-Hindu leanings, but it's mostly a case of that Bollywood just is obsessed with formulas. Okay, इनको basically लगा था कि अच्छा आरआरआर में देखो राम वाम दिखा दिया, पूरा देश में जय श्री राम का नारा लग रहा है, चलो उसमें कुछ फिल्म बना देते हैं. This is how they think. This is how Kolkata's Bengal Tollywood thinks. This is how Bollywood thinks. So it has failed basically because of that. It is a bad movie. It has turned out to be a bad movie basically because of that. And let me tell you that it's very much speculative of the fact that I think it's probably not made on 600 crores. Okay, unless it's a huge money laundering scam, it does not seem like a 600 crore movie, right? Kantara is made on what, 21 crores. Okay, तो यहाँ 600 करोड़ नहीं लगा है मोस्ट प्रोबेबली. आई थिंक ये 100 करोड़ 120 करोड़ का मूवी है, और ये फ्लॉप भी नहीं होगा क्योंकि बहुत लोगों ने ऑलरेडी देख लिया है. तो ये पहले 5-6 दिन में जो अर्निंग हो गया उससे इनका प्रॉफिट भी थोड़ा बहुत हो ही जाएगा. तो बाकी इनको फॉर्मूला फॉलो करना है. फॉर्मूला के बाहर जो काम करना है वो करने के लिए एक्चुअल बुद्धि चाहिए, इंटेलेक्चुअल रिगर्ड चाहिए, पढ़ाई चाहिए, रिसर्च चाहिए, समय चाहिए, डेडिकेशन चाहिए, लव रेस्पेक्ट चाहिए. वो नहीं है. वो बॉलीवुड के 90% लोगों के पास नहीं है, टॉलीवुड के 99% लोगों के पास नहीं है. ठीक है, कोलकाता के टॉलीवुड के पास. तो इनसे आगे से आदिपुरुष जैसे कुछ काम आशा करना छोड़ दो. ब्लैक टू व्हाइट स्कैम, या हाई पॉसिबिलिटीज. महाराष्ट्र, नाइस. Okay. And the other thing I wanted to talk about Adipurush is that, see, this is why Rajaram Mohan Roy was wrong. Rajaram Mohan Roy said that Hindus cannot learn English, be part of the establishment, earn money, and at the same time be as Hindu as possible, and have respect for their texts, Sanskrit, their epistemology, their faith systems, etc. Rajaram Mohan Roy underestimated that. And there may have been legitimate concerns in that phase, But in hindsight today we know that no, that is not the case. Hindus are much more in general intelligent than that, because I thought that no matter how bad Adipurush is, people will end up liking it. And see, even in the initial reactions people were cheering in the theaters, right? But now today, on the, as far as the Monday's box office collections are concerned, it has earned about 20 crores, right? Or Tuesday's collections are 20 crores. No, Monday's is 20 crores. So that shows that इंडिया के हिंदुओं को अब ये चूतिया बनाना थोड़ा कठिन काम हो गया है. अब ये नहीं होगा. वो थोड़ा राम दिखा दिया, जय श्री राम दिखा दिया, इससे लोग देखने नहीं चले जाएंगे. वो फॉर्मूला अगर बॉलीवुड का काम नहीं किया, अब तो इनको सच में कुछ आर्टिस्टिक करना पड़ेगा. अब इनका बहुत लगने वाला है. मगर आई रियली बाउ डाउन इन फ्रंट ऑफ द हिंदू कम्युनिटी एंड द बिलीवर्स, जिनको ये लोग चुतिया बना नहीं पाए. ओके, ह्यूज रेस्पेक्ट टू यू गाइज फॉर एक्चुअली हेटिंग आदिपुरुष. I was hating it from the technical side already, and I'm not, I don't know everything about Ramayana to even criticize the things that they showed wrong in the movie, right? So उसके बाद तो अजीत भारती, प्रतीक बोरादे, इनको देखकर पता चला कि अच्छा ये सब भी गलत ही दिखाया है. तो वो सब आप लोगों ने देखा एवं आप लोगों ने जज किया कि नहीं, ये चुतिया बनाया जा रहा है हमको, हम नहीं देखेंगे, मारो गाली फिल्म को. ये बहुत अच्छा हुआ है. एंड देयर हैज नॉट बीन एनी वायलेंस. देयर हैज बीन सम कॉल्स फॉर बैनिंग एटसेट्रा, मगर बैन करेंगे तो लोगों को पता कैसे चलेगा कि ये लोग चूतिए हैं? ओके, अगर बैन करते तो आप लोगों को आज भी लगता कि यार ओम राउत तो बड़े अच्छा डायरेक्टर है, मनोज मुंतशिर के ऊपर कोई नहीं है. ये बैन नहीं हुआ इसलिए लोगों को पता चल रहा है ना, तो इसलिए बैन नहीं होने चाहिए चीजें. तो ज्यादा वायलेंस भी नहीं हुआ है. बजरंग दल ने कहीं पे जाके थिएटर में जला वाला नहीं दिया है. दैट इज ऑल्सो नाइस. तो in general, mad respect to the Hindu community, as a born again Hindu in some ways, that they saw through this bullshit, that Adipurush is an extremely fake attempt at just making some quick money at the cost of Hindu emotions. Ajit Bharti has done a great job. 78% drop ho gayi. Yes, that's absolutely brilliant. Okay, and that brings me to my second point of discussion today, that see, ये जो राजा राम मोहन रॉय जैसा थिंकिंग है हिंदुओं को अंडर एस्टिमेट करने का और हिंदू इंटेलिजेंस को अंडर एस्टिमेट करने का, दैट इज द मिस्टेक दैट राजा राम मोहन रॉय मेड. एंड आई थिंक दैट इज द मिस्टेक पीपल हु don't agree with me when I say that we should have USA like gun laws in India, and they say that see no, यूएसए में इतना स्कूल शूटिंग हो रहा है, इस वो भी इंडिया में हो जाएगा. पहली बात तो वो होता है वहां के मेंटल हेल्थ प्रॉब्लम्स के लिए, वो मैंने बहुत बार डिस्कस कर लिया है. आज भी अगर किसी ने यहाँ पे डिबेट करना चाहा तो हम डिस्कस कर लेंगे. मगर अगर वो नहीं भी है, अगर आप लोगों को सच में लगता है कि अच्छा गन लॉ है इसलिए मास शूटिंग्स हो रहा है, तो अगेन यू आर अंडरस्टिमेटिंग द हिंदू कम्युनिटी इन दैट केस, और द मेजोरिटी इंडियन इथोस, द हिंदू इथोस, कि कोई प्रॉब्लम अगर यूएसए में हुआ तो इमीडिएटली वो हिंदुस्तान में भी होगा, भारत में भी होगा. ये बहुत बड़ा अंडर एस्टिमेशन है, एंड दैट शुड नॉट बी द केस. ओके, दिस इज द आर्ग्यूमेंट एक्चुअली इवन जय साई दीपक फर्स्ट मेड मी अवेयर ऑफ, दैट व्हाई आर यू making India seem like USA? Why are you comparing everything of India with USA? And why are you asking for every USA type law in India? बिकॉज यूएसए इज नॉट इंडिया. तो यूएसए में जो रहा है सब तो यहाँ पे नहीं होगा. तो यूएसए के जो बुरे चीजें हैं वो भी इंडिया में ऐसे कैसे हो जाएगा? यहाँ पे भी अगर हमने थोड़ा आसान तरीके से गन अपने पास रखने शुरू कर दिए तो इमीडिएटली हम जाके स्कूल वूल में गोली से उड़ा देंगे बच्चों को. वैसा नहीं होगा. वो मेंटल हेल्थ का चक्कर तो छोड़ ही दीजिए, मगर हम इतने चुतिए नहीं हैं अभी भी. एंड फॉर द मेन रीजन व्हाई वी आर नॉट लाइक दैट, आई वुड से इज दैट सी, सुखस्य मूलम धर्म, धर्मस्य मूलम अर्थ, अर्थस्य मूलम राज्य, राज्यस्य मूलम इंद्रियजय, इंद्रियजयस्य मूलम विनय, विनयस्य मूलम वृद्धपो सेवा. तो सी, in this list of one thing leading to another, so many things are absent in USA, right? इन लोगों का है कि यूएसए का प्रॉब्लम है कि सुखस्य मूलम अर्थ, बीच में धर्म तो चला गया है इनका, और उनका वृद्धपो सेवा है ही नहीं. थोड़ा बहुत इंद्रियजय था, कुछ कंजर्वेटिव्स का, बाकी उनके लिबरल्स का कुछ इंद्रियजय स्टोइसिज्म भी नहीं है. विनय तो छोड़ ही दो, विनय उनका लिबरल्स का भी नहीं है, कंजर्वेटिव्स का भी नहीं है. ठीक है, तो ये उनका स्ट्रक्चरल प्रॉब्लम्स है जो कि इन द नियर फ्यूचर वो सॉल्व नहीं होने वाला है. ये प्रॉब्लम हमारे नहीं है. और हमारे आज तक का मतलब अप अंटिल लास्ट 10-15 इयर्स हमारा क्या प्रॉब्लम था? हमारा प्रॉब्लम था कि हमारा सुखस्य मूलम सिर्फ धर्म ही था, बाकी अर्थवर्था चला गया था, राज्य चला गया था, हमारे लिए कुछ नहीं बचा था सोशलिज्म मरवाने के चक्कर में. तो इट्स नॉट दैट यूएसए में कोई प्रॉब्लम है तो इमीडिएटली इंडिया में हो जाएगा. जिहादीज ऑलरेडी हैव गन्स. यस, प्रॉपर सर्वे शुड बी कंडक्टेड ऑन मेंटल हेल्थ. सर्वे पे कितना भरोसा करें? सर्वे के लिए जो जो बजट लगेगा वो या सी अगर सेंसस सर्वे हो रहा है तो या मे बी मेंटल हेल्थ चेकअप ऑफ द एंटायर कंट्री कैन बी डन, बट समथिंग नीड्स टू बी डन. आवर गन लॉज एट द मोमेंट आर एक्सट्रीमली हिलेरियस एंड एक्सट्रीमली स्टूपिड. वो नहीं होना चाहिए. Okay, next topic I wanted to discuss, it's not my official list today, but I wanted to talk about it just because the discussion was going on at the moment. Were you guys any of you checking out the Jaipur Dialogues podcast which was going on, which is even going on at the moment? Okay, wo Vibhuti Jha is hosting it, who's the American Hindu Republican politician from New York. He lost his election and he bowed down to some Patharba's demands at the last moment, which is why I think he lost. Uh, because otherwise he would have won on the votes of conservatives if he had showed some balls. But anyway, New York is a very liberal state anyway, so fair enough. But they are having a great discussion right now. एक प्रोफेसर आए हैं वहाँ के इलिनॉय यूनिवर्सिटी से, तो वो लिबरल्स, कम्युनिस्ट, पत्थरबाज सबकी बहुत जोर से ले रहे हैं एंड ही इज अप्रिशिएटिंग नरेंद्र मोदी. तो वो बोलने में वो ये एग्जांपल दे रहे थे कि अच्छा यूएसए को क्रिटिसाइज करते करते हो हमेशा जो, तो और यहाँ पे अदानी को क्रिटिसाइज कर रहे हो, और यूएसए में जो चीजें अच्छे बोल रहे हो कभी कभी कि देखो यूएसए में ये कैपिटल, ये इकोनॉमिक प्रॉस्पेरिटी है, ये मोदी क्यों नहीं ला रहे हैं, तो वो क्यों ला रहे हैं वो थोड़ा रिसर्च करो. राहुल गांधी को एड्रेस, मतलब ऐसे ही कल्पना में एड्रेस करके बोल रहे हैं. तो वो सोच के याद आया कि या that needs to be pointed out in the first place. That's very good that even mainstream professors of this caliber are pointing out nowadays कि अरे अमेरिका को गाली बाद में देना, पहले क्या अच्छा सीखना है वो सीख लो, वैसा इकोनॉमिक प्रॉस्पेरिटी लाओ. तो वो सुन के मुझे याद आया, you all probably know that California is about the same GDP as India, right? Okay, one state is the same GDP as the fifth largest economy in the world. Okay, almost the same or अदर, और नहीं तो थोड़ा थोड़ा शायद ज्यादा है. बट व्हाई इज दैट? ओके, कैलिफोर्निया का ऐसा पागल की तरह जीडीपी क्यों है? डू यू नो कैलिफोर्निया इज द इजीएस्ट प्लेस टू क्लोज डाउन अ बिजनेस. India used to be even today to some extent it's very tough to open a business, और closing down a business में अभी भी बहुत सारे रिफॉर्म जरूरी है. ये संजीव सान्याल, विवेक देवरा, ये लोग थोड़ा बहुत मैनेज कर रहे हैं, बट it's nowhere as easy as USA, obviously, and especially places like Bengal where we are seeing closed factories after closed factories all on the borders of the Ganga. Okay, ये वहाँ के फैक्ट्री वर्कर्स को लगता है, वहाँ के जो लेफ्टिस्ट, इनके यूनियन बाज लोग हैं, इन लोगों ने इनको समझा के रखा है फैक्ट्री कभी बंद नहीं होने देना. फैक्ट्री बंद होगा तो तुमको खाना कहाँ से मिलेगा, और कोई तो काम नहीं आता है तुमको, भोसड़ी के सिर्फ जूट मिल में ही काम करना है, और काम कोई जिंदगी में सीख नहीं पाओगे, और कोई फैक्ट्री जिंदगी में तैयार नहीं होगा. ये एक जूट मिल बंद हो गया तो तुम्हारा खाना पीना बंद हो गया. ये जो चुतियापा वामपंथियों ने समझा के रखा है, तृणमूल वालों ने, कांग्रेस वालों ने समझा के रखा है इंडियन फैक्ट्री वर्कर्स को, ये चुतियापा कैलिफोर्निया में नहीं है. वहां पे फैक्ट्री क्लोज करने से अच्छा ये कंपनी नहीं चला, ठीक है बंद कर दो, नेक्स्ट कंपनी खोल दो. वहां वो अगर ठीक हो गया, वहां पे कोई किसी ना किसी को कहीं ना कहीं एक और कंपनी में काम मिल ही जाएगा. ठीक है, फैक्ट्री बंद करने में क्या क्या शत्रुता है? ठीक है, और एक कंपनी खोलो, किसी और को एम्प्लॉय कर लो. इसीलिए कैलिफोर्निया का जीडीपी अकेला पूरे के पूरे भारतवर्ष के साइज का जीडीपी है. ठीक है, मगर ऑन द ब्राइट साइड कैलिफोर्निया का जीडीपी ग्रोथ रेट है 0.4%. भारत का जीडीपी ग्रोथ रेट है 7.2%. पश्चिम बंगाल का जीडीपी ग्रोथ रेट है 10%, और यूपी का जीडीपी ग्रोथ रेट है 19%. ओके, तो मेरा तो ये कंसर्न है कि कुछ एक दो जनरेशन में यूपी में भी बहुत वोकिज्म आएगा, क्योंकि गुड टाइम्स लीड टू वीक मैन क्रिएट हार्ड टाइम्स. ओके, तो वहां में भी पुसीज बहुत सारे आने लगेंगे यूपी में भी. बट अदर देन दैट, यूएसए के जो स्ट्रक्चरल प्रॉब्लम्स है, मेंटल हेल्थ प्रॉब्लम्स है, उनसे देखिए क्या क्या चीजें होते हैं कि उनका क्राइम रेट इंडिया से बहुत बहुत खराब है. ठीक है, इसके बारे में कोई बात नहीं करता है, विच इज वाई आई एम स्टार्टिंग दिस सेपरेट लाइव स्ट्रीम सीरीज just to discuss and comment on international politics, because we have always talked about that every university in the world has a India studies department, China studies department, South Asia studies department. मगर इंडिया में कोई वैसे अमेरिकन स्टडीज डिपार्टमेंट नहीं है, एक सिर्फ जेएनयू में है. तो आई एम नॉट सेइंग दैट आई एम अ स्कॉलर नाउ, आई एम गोइंग टू ओपन अ यूएसए स्टडीज डिपार्टमेंट, बट I have some confidence to talk about American politics because I have been following it ardently with all my breadth and fascination and love and respect for this topic. Okay, for since 2016. So in terms of Indian history, Hinduism, I don't have that authority. I'm just a learner. I'm an absolute beginner. तो उसके लिए ब्रह्म पुराण वगैरह वो पढ़ना, हिस्ट्री ऑफ इंडियन फिलोसफी पढ़ना, वो लाइव स्ट्रीम सेपरेटली चलेंगे. मगर वी नीड समवन टू कमेंट ऑन इंटरनेशनल पॉलिटिक्स एंड स्पेशली यूएसए एंड यूके and Canada's politics as well, from a very balanced perspective, because I think Palki Sharma does that to a large extent, but Palki Sharma is also very she always depends on the usual lying leftist sources, okay, to criticize USA. She will always say, see kitna racism hai USA mein, black, she picks up the narrative of Black Lives Matter. Only one who's reasonably accurate in their depiction of American politics is I think Sanjay Dixit, and because of Vibhuti. But I think we can do a better job here because my audience base is also pretty biased, balanced and educated on this. So we will comment on USA's issues to a large extent from now on. And another thing I had to discuss is that the crime rate of USA, acknowledge how bad it is in comparison of India, because even in West Bengal, which is a slow growth rate state, whose economy is almost destroyed, who has 30-35% Pattharbaz community, even in such a state, our crime rate, at least on a day-to-day basis, is not much. We live on the first floor. Okay, so every floor in our flat keeps their keys hanging from that bag, and half the time I'm sleeping, or when my parents are sleeping, our maid comes, takes the keys, opens the door, does all the jhadu pocha, and then leave on their own, leave the key on the bag. We are not scared all the time that ये लोग कुछ चोरी कर लेंगे, या फिर वो चाबी जो बैग में है वो कोई आके चोरी करके लेके जाएगा. These things can't be expected in California. Forget Chicago. Chicago is a third world shithole. But ये सब आप आज के दिन में कैलिफोर्निया में भी एक्सपेक्ट नहीं कर सकते हैं. That shows that even today, Hindu majority is an entirely different animal to deal with. Okay, so don't compare everything of India with everything bad of USA. That's my complaint with people who say that we can't have more liberal gun laws. Our gun laws are absolutely bullshit. Okay, let's just check some comments. Utsav Sharma is saying, भाई वो high rate low base effect की वजह से है, अभी time है wokeness. Exactly. साई टंडल इज सेइंग, मैं आज एक वीडियो देखा जिसमें वेस्ट बंगाल का 60% लैंड फार्मिंग के लिए सुटेबल नहीं है. या मगर वहां पे फैक्ट्री भी नहीं हो रहा है because they are very much far away from any good roads. Okay, not good roads, at least the national highways. That is the problem. Even I was in class 10, 11 or 12 when the Shingur ruckus was going on. Even then, our environmental studies teacher, our economics teacher also used to say that they were all anti-CPIM. So they used to say that, why isn't CPM giving them those barren lands to Tata? अरे टाटा कहाँ फैक्ट्री बनाएगा, वो टाटा का मर्जी है. टाटा को बोलेगा कि नहीं भाई, तुम वहां पे जाके वो रेगिस्तान है वहां पे जाके बनाओ. टाटा थोड़ी बात सुनेगा. टाटा को बनाना है हाईवे के ऊपर जहाँ पे खेती बाड़ी होता है, तो बनाना है, क्या करोगे. तो अभी गुजरात का तो वो एडवांटेज था कि गुजरात में उतना मतलब एग्रीकल्चरल लैंड नहीं था, इसलिए वहां पे झट से हो गया. मगर हमारा एग्रीकल्चर वाज नॉट अ प्रायोरिटी. इट्स नॉट इवन अ प्रायोरिटी इवन टुडे. इतना हम एग्रीकल्चरल प्रोडक्ट्स हम रास्ते पे वेस्ट करते हैं. तो दैट वाज अ गुड मूव बाय सीपीएम एनीवे, और मे बी द ओनली गुड मूव बाय सीपीएम. तो वो नहीं हो पाया, और उसके बाद में वही लोग जाके फिर से बोलने लगे कि नहीं, ये फार्म लॉज भी नहीं चाहिए. ओके, इट्स जस्ट दैट कॉग्निटिव डिसोनेंस थिंग कि जो बच्चों को जेयू में ममता के पुलिस ने जाके मारा था 2014 में, जिसके लिए बहुत बड़ा आंदोलन हुआ था, रैलियां निकले थे होक कॉलोडम नाम से. उस रैली में मैं भी गया था. तो वही बच्चे आज बड़े होके तृणमूल को ही वोट देते हैं ताकि हिंदू फैशीवादी पार्टी बंगाल में पावर में ना आए. ओके, दैट्स द स्टुपिडिटी. Did you watch ANI podcast with Samir Saran? I watched, I think 80-90% of it. थोड़ा थोड़ा बाकी है. I love ANI podcast, man, mostly. I love Samir Saran. Next level Doglapant. Decathlon have land on national highway in Kharagpur, but production plants. Yes. Hmm. So, our next topic of discussion is. I shared this on my community tab a few days back, but it needs to be discussed because I'll make separate videos out of this as well. Let me see how to use this StreamYard. Okay. Yeah, this is working fine. So, guys, I am trying to hit the nail in the head that mental health is a hoax mostly, and we will discuss a paper relating to that as well. But also that fake mental health problem that USA has created because of their mental health awareness, their body positivity awareness, their transgenderism awareness. इनको लगता है कि ये awareness के वजह से ही आज इतने लोग mental health में सफर कर रहे हैं, ये लोगों को पता चल रहा है. That's because of awareness. But I'm saying no, that's not the case. It's because of once you accept something, you have to set a boundary somewhere. You have to say, the society has to say at some point that thus far and no further, right? Otherwise, अगर आप कुछ accept कर लिए society में, तो immediately that becomes the aspirational model as well. Not immediately, but gradually. I think being gay, being LGBTQ, being transgender, being depressed, being bipolar, these things are aspirational models now for the youth, especially. You all know it. Anyone who is on Instagram knows this. Every girl who's under 25 is depressed, and they have written in their bio that they're depressed. How the fuck is this possible? This is because of awareness. No, this is a aspirational model. Rupi Kaur has made a career out of writing poems on depression. But about 50 poets of Bengal only write on depression and menstruation. We call them period Kobi. But that's the problem. You have to accept it, but not make it an aspirational model. You have to draw a line somewhere. Okay. So you see, this data we are going to discuss now is one of the reasons for the huge mental health pandemic that they are facing USA, which also leads them to have 75% divorce rates, which also leads them to have mass obesity, which leads them to further create mental health problems, which then leads them to take up their guns and shoot up schools. Okay, which only has started mainly happening in the last 10-15 years, even though their gun ownership per family has remained basically same ever since 1950s 60s. The law is from 1791. अब लास्ट 10-15 साल में जाके इतना कहाँ से स्कूल शूटिंग हो रहा है, कैसे हो रहा है, क्या क्या मिस्ट्री है इसके पीछे. ठीक है, दीज आर द मिस्ट्रीज बिहाइंड दोज थिंग्स. एंड per families with guns, okay, that was 42% in 1970. Highest it went up in was 47%. Today it's again at 43%. It has never crossed 48%. It has never gone below 40% in USA. Okay, 40 to 48% फैमिलीज के पास हमेशा गन हुआ रखा गया है यूएसए में. तो आज ये लास्ट 5-10 साल में क्या अलग हुआ है, क्या नया हुआ है? Only thing that has happened differently is their obsession with obesity, depression, bad food, lack of workout, video games. Those are the things that are creating the mass school shootings, not their gun laws. Okay, and we don't have these problems yet, which is why we should have better gun laws. Okay. Period Kobe. Yes. Yeah, it's about attention seeking. Yes, absolutely. So let's just discuss this paper. Not paper, this small article. Women who used contraceptive pill as teenagers, because our social mores are different. Abhi bhi hamare teenagers, at least outside the main cities, Bombay, Kolkata, Pune, etc., they don't have sex all the time. But USA has been doing this for about 30 years, right? Ever since their sexual revolutions in the 1960s, और उसके बाद से percolate होके mainstream हो गया 70s 80s में. Friends serial ने तो बोल ही दिया कि sex करना, getting laid is your biggest achievement in your life, right? तो 14, 15, 16 साल की बच्चियां प्रेगनेंसी में सफर करते हैं, या फिर अबॉर्शन करते हैं, या फिर कॉन्ट्रासेप्टिव पिल्स लेते हैं. And that's absolutely mainstream in USA. But now this article is saying this. It's a very serious study. It's not a random right-wing study, okay? It's a very legit study. Women who used contraceptive pill as teenagers are 130% more likely to be depressed as adults, study suggests. First-time users as adults had a 92% higher risk of depression than never users. Researchers said Certain pills I can't pronounce this thing properly ever. Exacerbate puberty related hormonal changes. हाँ, कहाँ से आ रहा है transgenderism? Hormonal changes, okay. FDA could approve OTC birth control mini pill by the summer. हमारा पुराना दोस्त FDA, जिसके बारे में मैंने वीडियो बनाया कुछ दिन पहले. Women who start taking birth control pills as teens have a drastically higher risk of developing depression than those who have never taken contraception. A new 4-year long study found that women who began taking an oral contraceptive before they turned 20 had a 130% higher rate of depression compared to never users. And individuals who started क्या है oral contraceptive as an adult had a lower depression risk rate at 92%. 92% is a lower rate. Can you believe that? And they are saying mental health आज के दिन में इतना अवेयरनेस हुआ है इसलिए सब लोगों को डिप्रेशन हो रहा है. लोगों को अवेयरनेस हुआ है इसलिए लोग बोल बात कर पा रहे हैं इसके वजह से. देयर इज अ कन्वर्सेशन अबाउट डिप्रेशन. ये देखो भोसरी के कहां से डिप्रेशन आ रहा है. The likelihood of developing birth control pill linked depression was highest within the first 2 years of starting the contraceptive, but the rate at which women were diagnosed with depression fell the longer they took an OC. The research team, led by health experts at Uppsala University in Sweden, proposed that the link could be blamed on hormonal level changes already wreaking havoc on a teen's emotional well being, which is magnified by the addition of hormonal birth control. The report comes as troves of women are revealing adverse effects of the pill, such as blood clots, gallbladder disease, and other mental health issues. और ये जो चीज है हार्मोनल बर्थ कंट्रोल की वजह से वो प्यूबर्टी के पहले इतना प्रॉब्लम्स हो रहा है. You have to remember that even the gender dysphoria thing, which is termed today as transgenderism, even in most of the cases, even if someone really feels that they are from the opposite gender, even that is actually healed by the time they reach their puberty. Okay, by the time their actual testosterone kicks in or their estrogen takes full shape, etc. The report comes as okay, ये तो हो गया. A history of ever having taken an oral contraceptive was associated with an overall higher rate of depression compared to those who had never taken one. However, the risk of depression was less pronounced after 2 years of continued use. Therese Johansson, lead author of the study, said, quote, "The powerful influence of contraceptive pills on teenagers can be ascribed to the hormonal changes caused by puberty. As women in that age group have already experienced substantial hormonal changes, they can be more receptive not only to hormonal changes but also to other life experiences." अच्छा, ये अगर चीजें आप लोग कोई बात करेंगे किसी अपने दोस्त के साथ, पहली बात कोई लिबरल लड़का या लड़की आपको आके क्या बोलेगा कि you can't be a moral police, you don't have the right to judge. ये जो जज करना बंद करो एक भोसड़ी का फ्रेज सीख लिया है, ये हर जगह पे 24/7 चला रहा है. जज करना होगा. जजिंग इज गुड. जजिंग मीन्स यू हैव प्रायोरिटीज. जजिंग मीन्स you have a hierarchy of choices. If everything is beautiful, then nothing is beautiful. Okay, you can say an acid attack victim is very courageous, very brave, and very brave for suffering and surviving through what she went through. But she is not Aishwarya Rai. She is not beautiful. A sunrise on a mountain top is beautiful. A road random in front of my house is not beautiful. Everything is not beautiful. Some things are bad, some things are courageous. There are different beautiful words for different things. ये इंग्लिश ग्रामर काहे चेंज करना है? ब्यूटीफुल जो है वही ब्यूटीफुल है, जो करेजियस है वही करेजियस है. And no one, and even if you survive an acid attack, you are not as courageous as a firefighter or a soldier now. You are extremely courageous, you have suffered extremely, but that does not make you an army officer. Okay, now these English grammar changes are the most irritating thing, and you have to judge, and you should judge. You should say that thus far and no further. ठीक है, हमने लीगल कर दिया, आपको जेंडर चेंज करना है, आपको एक लड़का होके लड़के के साथ सोना है, ठीक है, ये लीगल होगा, मगर हम जज भी करेंगे, ये लीगल भी रहेगा. we will talk down about it. We will say it's not the right thing to do, so that it does not become the aspirational fucking model. We have to prevent this from being an aspirational model in India. Okay, let's see what else she's saying. Okay, so remember guys, always judge. As women in that age group have already experienced substantial hormonal changes, they can be more receptive. Okay, ho gaya. The study, one of the largest and wide ranging to date, encompassed nearly 2,65,000 women in the UK Biobank, a population based cohort that recruited 5 lakh participants in the UK aged 37 to 71 years between 2006 and 2010. So it's a long term study. Ms. Johansson, a PhD candidate, added, quote, "It is important to emphasize that most women tolerate external hormones as well without experiencing negative effects on their mood. So combined contraceptive pills are an excellent option for many women. However, certain women may have an increased risk of depression after starting to use contraceptive pills. Though depression in adult women fell after about 2 years of routinely taking an oral contraceptive, that similar incidence remained high among teens even after they stopped taking it. Mood disturbance is a common complaint among women taking hormonal birth control pills considered in the study, which contain estrogen and a synthetic version of the hormone progesterone called progestogen. और यही एस्ट्रोजन हमारे गौ माताओं को दिया जाता है डेयरी इंडस्ट्री में or every animal that you consume which is not farm raised has estrogen. Okay, progestogen prevents ovulation and thickens cervical mucus, which prevents sperm from entering the uterus. And estrogen thins the uterine lining, further hindering the implantation of a fertilized egg, thus preventing pregnancy about 99% of the time. One study in JAMA Psychiatry, conducted by experts at the University of Copenhagen in 2016, reported that among more than a million Danish women, the ones using hormonal contraceptives were found to be at 0.9 to 1.9 times greater risk of a first time diagnosis with depression. Teen girls, और ये तो ignoring the fact that there is already an incentive for the psychiatrist to diagnose with you with depression because उनको ये pills वैसे भी push करना है. Pharmaceutical industry ने उनको दे के रखा है, देखिए भाई थोड़ा थोड़ा इसका इसका इस्तेमाल कीजिए. Teen girls had an even higher risk ranging from 1.2 times to 3.2 times, but researchers acknowledged that this could be attributed to the age group being generally more prone to depression symptoms. On the other hand, a wealth of evidence has piled up over the years to show that birth control pills can actually improve mood and emotional health. In a 2013 report in the American Journal of Epidemiology, American doctors studied the effects of contraception in a sample of more than 6,600 sexually active non pregnant women. They found users of hormonal contraceptives had lower average levels of depressive symptoms and were less likely to have attempted suicide in the previous year compared to women who took non hormonal birth control and those who took nothing at all. Nothing at all. Okay. See, अमेरिकन ड्रग इंडस्ट्री का जहां पे भी मेंशन होगा वहां पे भी इमीडिएटली कन्वर्सेशन ये हो जाता है कि अच्छा कुछ भी एक्सक्यूज हो दवाई आपको लेना है पहले ही. So you see here, now they are saying that people who didn't take any birth control pills उनसे भी अच्छा मेंटल हेल्थ कंडीशन बन गया उनका जिन्होंने ये कॉन्ट्रासेप्टिव पिल्स लिया. तो नाउ यू सी ऐसे ही अगर आप लड़के भी हैं प्रेग्नेंट नहीं है लड़की है फिर भी आप ऐसे ही एक कॉन्ट्रासेप्टिव पिल ले लीजिए क्योंकि नाउ इट्स अपेरेंटली ट्रीटमेंट फॉर डिप्रेशन एज वेल. And a 2003 study conducted by doctors at Brigham and Women's Hospital in Boston found that a fraction of 658 women taking oral contraceptives, slightly over 16%, saw their mood worsen on the pill. So these are obviously very small sample sizes, but the one saying that no, there are huge depression implications, that has studied about 5 lakh women, okay? But the vast majority of them, more than 71%, saw no changes to their mood at all. The latest study out of Sweden only considered hormonal birth control pills containing 2 types of female hormones and did not include other forms of contraception such as IUDs, vaginal rings, or mini pills containing only progestin. The study also included a generally healthy and overwhelmingly white population in the UK, which the author said could undercut the degree to which their findings apply to a broader context of contraception side effects. Yes, because genetics, body composition, body का chemical composition, brain का chemical composition, हर लोगों का अलग है और हर race का भी थोड़ा बहुत अलग है. Their findings were published in the journal Epidemiology and Psychiatric Sciences. Okay. डॉलर का चक्कर भैया. Yes, nowadays people equate sadness as depression. Yes, absolutely. Our parents too do not want to talk about facts of life with their pubescent children. Yes, pubescent children. Our system will not work on sex ed in school but want to promote sexual liberation. Yes. जज वाला बात मैं थोड़ा कमेंट पढ़ रहा हूँ. जज वाला बात तो जीसस से झाप लिया है, राइट? But any discussion on this issue as was done by Tom Cruise, was designated as a science denier, as shown by Dave Rubin recently. Yes. Nina is saying, how are they deciding who is depressed? Are they self-identifying? Oh, Nina, didn't you? Oh, you saw my last day's Brahmapuran stream, right? The sister I discussed about. That's how it happens. You just tell them that you are having some problems, you are feeling lazy, and you kind of feel 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 some sort of problems in executing a particular work, and you don't feel like getting out of your bed, and you may have had some sad occurrence in your life, or even may not have some serious sad occurrence in your life, and you have a tough time concentrating, you have a tough time working hard. That means you have depression. End of story. Immediately your pills will start, and they will say that, yeah, take it for the first 3 months, see, you won't get addicted, check it out, try it. They behave like drug dealers. Maximus is saying, important thing about this oral contraceptive basically reprograms the body to reject natural method. Therefore, isn't it understandable that the human body, being what it is, will try to adapt? Yes. What the hell is the higher one? Higher one is 130%. हमारे यहाँ तो अभी resistance ही नहीं बचा. Yes. This is on a rampant rise in India. Yes, this is why we need to discuss these stuff. And a lot of people are saying, when I post so much stuff from the American context, they say, how is this relevant to India? How is this relevant to India? And at the same time, they say that, why aren't we commenting on America's affairs? This is why we have to comment on America's affairs, because first of all, they are the biggest country in the world. They are the most influential country in the world. They are our ally, and all these problems are going to come to us in very short time. Okay, so we have to be prepared and absolutely educated on these topics. I heard of Rajiv Malhotra only in 2022, but I knew of these American problems because I was following American politics so much. But thank God for Rajiv Malhotra. Rajiv Malhotra is the one who educated the general Indian Hindutva mass about these problems being exported by USA, right? So why was Rajiv Malhotra doing it then, if it's not relevant to India? All of this is relevant to India. These are coming to your home very soon, and these are going to come to even religious Hindu families as well. Because if you're not aware of this, because if you don't even know that depression is a hoax, that mental health is a big drug mafia industry, how will you cope with it? Unless you are an extremely good parent with extremely strong values, you are not going to be able to fix these things, okay, or prevent these things. Especially because even if you are very a devout Hindu family or something, even then you are most probably working 11 to 12 hours a day in a tech firm, right? That's the majority of India, or majority of Hindus, urban Hindus especially, okay, who are going to be most affected by these things. तो अगर किसी के माता पिता आज 11-12 घंटे काम कर रहे हैं, और उनका बेटा बेटी जो बच्चे घर में अकेले पूरा दिन बैठ के या तो गेम खेल रहे हैं, या फिर सिर्फ ट्यूशन में आ जा रहे हैं, जा रहे हैं, आ रहे हैं, जा रहे हैं, कुछ कुछ खेल कूद का चक्कर नहीं है, और इंस्टाग्राम ही देख रहे हैं और वीडियो गेम खेल रहे हैं, तो उनको ये सब, each and every of these problems are going to reach their head as well, either from Instagram, or by general pop culture, where every character in every web series is also suffering from depression or anxiety, bipolarity, ADHD, or a host of other things. And they will feel like that, yeah, I think I also have this problem. And they will know that it's an aspirational model. They see that everyone is facing these problems, and they are getting a lot of attention because of it. So they will tell their parents that, mom, dad, I think I have depression, just take me to a psychiatrist. And then the psychiatrist is going to say that, oh yeah, yeah, come in, yes, you have ADHD. Is my internet doing any problem, guys? I don't think so, right? Wait, let me just close all my Wi-Fi's. I don't know if StreamYard takes up a little more internet connection than than my OBS, etc. Anthropology will have an impact. Yes, biggest country in the world was a direct translation from Bengali. Don't take it literally, guys. Yeah, yeah. Biggest means most influential, not by size. Thanks, Maximus, for pointing that out. These are funded too by Indian billionaires. Yes, either they are big assholes, or because they are absolutely unaware of it, just as the mainstream Indian audiences or the population is unaware of it. Both can be equally possible. Legal drug dealers, amen. Nope, it's all fine. Okay. Okay. My next topic is which basically proves that depression is a hoax. We have to discuss this research paper. It's a very short paper. We will discuss that now. Depression is probably not caused by a chemical imbalance in the brain. New study. This is from 2022. Someone in my audience only pointed this out, so I looked it up. Thanks, whoever pointed this out. I forgot your name. But remember that dialogue in Munna Bhai MBBS, Chemical Locha? That's when Bollywood started making people aware of the mental health problems we might face in our lives. So this study proves that there is no such thing as mental locha. If you feel sad, if you feel lazy, that's your problem. Work out, do 5 push-ups, wake up in the morning, go in the sun, go for a walk. And if you don't feel like doing that, remember that most people don't feel like doing that. We are not kids that will like to go out and play. Virat Kohli does not feel like going out and working out and giving his 100% every day. MS Dhoni does not feel that. He does because it's his duty, because that's how he earns his money, and that's what he is put on the earth to do. That's what he's supposed to do. That's what he has to do. It's his profession. It's not a matter of feeling like doing it. Okay, workout is not about feeling like doing it. So the only solution to whatever we call depression today is, in my opinion, good diet and workout, because your brain is a muscle which is inside your body, which just like any other part of your body functions on good diet, good blood circulation, good hydration. There's no other aspect to this. But this study proves my claim right. Let's discuss this paper now. Writing in the conversation, Professor Joanna Moncrieff and Dr. Mark Horowitz, both UCL psychiatry, and this is a mainstream research paper. It was published on the University College London website. So I'm not bringing out Alex Jones kind of websites to prove my point. Okay. Report on the new research showing that no clear evidence that serotonin levels or serotonin activity are responsible for depression, and they say that जिन लोगों का by default ऐसे ही serotonin कम हो गया है ऐसे ही magically, उनको हम थोड़ा बहुत serotonin दवाई दे देंगे, उसके बाद ठीक हो जाएगा. But the fun part is that serotonin is actually goddamn created by workout. So if at all there is something really called depression, if at all that is created by serotonin deficiency, that means that workout is even more important instead of some pills, because workout exactly creates serotonin in your body immediately. That's the most hilarious part. Okay. I knew he was going to speak about sadness is your problem. Yes. Workout, sports, absolutely. Good parenting and moral values. And like I was saying in my other video about mental health as well, that आज के date में, if a parent does not send their kids to go play an organized sport, it's absolutely child abuse. Because पिछले जनरेशन में क्या था कि बच्चे वैसे भी स्कूल के बाद थोड़ा बहुत खेलकूद करते थे, आज नहीं करते हैं. तो आज अगर खेलकूद किसी को करवाना है, किसी का बॉडी अगर एक्टिव रखना है, तो आपको ऑर्गेनाइज स्पोर्ट्स में डालना ही पड़ेगा. अंकित शेट्टी saying maybe we should make the giga chat trend cool to counter depression. That is what Andrew Tate has done basically, hasn't he? Because see, you can have disagreements with Andrew Tate. I have about 20-30% disagreements with Andrew Tate, but we have to appreciate him for what he is doing right, isn't it? We have to find alliances everywhere. Think of yourself like the Indian foreign policy. We will have friendship with USA where it benefits us. We will have friendship with Russia where it benefits us. We don't have to completely have sex with Russia, nor do we have to completely go kissing USA. Okay, that's not the era we live in today. So see what Donald Trump and Andrew Tate are doing for countering the wokeism cause. They are fucking wrecking balls. They are a stone which is being thrown in a hornet's nest, and they are creating an absolute ruckus. They are destroying so many talking points and myths. So you should appreciate them for this, and maybe learn from them for this, and not hate them for the other things you might disagree with them on. But we have only one such wrecking ball in India, and that is J. Sai Deepak. And even he does not speak on these things, right? Because he has to focus. He's a full-time lawyer, and he's writing books, and he's going around giving talks and speeches. तो और कितने topics में cover करेगा? So someone has to say these things, and hopefully we will make people aware of this. But we need to talk about these things, that mental health is a joke. Okay. For 3 decades, people have been deluged with information suggesting that depression is caused by a quote-unquote chemical imbalance. That famous chemical locha pushed by Bollywood. Chemical imbalance in the brain, namely an imbalance of a brain chemical called serotonin. However, our latest research review shows that the evidence does not support it. Although first proposed in the 1960s, the serotonin theory of depression started to be widely promoted by the pharmaceutical industry in the 1990s in association with its efforts to market a new range of antidepressants. 1985-88 में all the main mental health drugs got approved by FDA. Okay, और उसके बाद से ही ये सब स्टडीज मेन स्ट्रीम हो गया, उसके बाद से ही मेंटल हेल्थ अवेयरनेस मेन स्ट्रीम हो गया, और उसके बाद से ही स्कूल शूटिंग्स बढ़ गए. कॉजालिटी इज नॉट ऑलवेज, correlation is not always causality, but what if it is in this case, because we can't see any other change that happened in the American mind, right? So um, in the 90s, the serotonin theory of depression started to be widely promoted by the pharmaceutical industry in the 1990s in association with its efforts to market a new range of antidepressants known as SSRIs, selective serotonin reuptake inhibitors. The idea was also endorsed by official institutions such as the American Psychiatric Association. Okay, ये है APA, which I continuously read out as or talked of as American Psychological Association. That's not the case. That's called the American Psychiatric Association. I screwed that up. Which still tells the public that, quote, differences in certain chemicals in the brain may contribute to symptoms of depression. May है यहाँ पे. जो लोग बोल रहे हैं डिप्रेशन इज रियल, वो भी बोल रहे हैं शायद, मगर पिल्स जब देना है वो शायद नहीं है, तब डेफिनेटली पिल्स देना है, तब कोई डाइट चेंज रेकमेंड नहीं करना है, कोई स्पोर्ट फिजिकल एक्टिविटी नहीं रेकमेंड करना है. ओके, Abhay is saying, I don't support complete sexual repression either, like it used to be 20 years ago. There has to be a balance. Yes, there has to be a balance. You should have things legal. You should allow people to do this, but at the same time, not glorify, which is going to be which is going to create a detriment to your society. You should say thus far and no further, because we are learning in real time from the problems of USA, right? So we have to avoid making the mistakes that USA did. Rohan, no, absolutely. Soros, Premji, and everyone conspires to end us. Okay. Differences in certain chemicals in the brain may contribute to symptoms of depression. Countless doctors have repeated the message all over the world in their private surgeries and in the media. People have accepted that what they were told. And many started taking antidepressants because they believed that they had something wrong with their brain that required an antidepressant to put right, not work out. In the period of this marketing push, antidepressant use climbed dramatically, and they are now prescribed to 1 in 6 of the adult population in England, for example. For a long time, certain academics, including some leading psychiatrists, have suggested that there is no satisfactory evidence to support the idea that depression is a result of abnormally low or inactive serotonin. Others continue to endorse the theory. Until now, however, there has been no comprehensive review of the research on serotonin and depression that could enable firm conclusions either way. At first sight, the fact that SSRI type antidepressants act on the serotonin system appears to support the serotonin theory of depression. SSRIs temporarily increase the availability of serotonin in the brain, which could have been done by 5 push-ups anyway. But this does not necessarily imply that depression is caused by the opposite of this effect. Interesting. There are other explanations for antidepressants' effects. In fact, drug trials show that antidepressants are barely distinguishable from a placebo. Placebo आप लोगों को पता है क्या है? A fake pill which does not have any medication, which is given to you just to check out whether you get healthy because of an actual medication, or do you feel you just got better because you think you consumed a great medication, even though that medication is actually a blank pill. That's called placebo, and that is how these studies are done. So देखो, प्लेसेबो से कितने लोगों का डिप्रेशन ठीक कर दिया, जो कि फेक था, which was not even a real medicine. There are other explanations for antidepressants' effects. In fact, drug trials show that antidepressants are barely distinguishable from a placebo or a dummy pill when it comes to treating depression. Look at this fucking thing. Also, antidepressants appear to have a generalized emotion numbing effect, which may influence people's moods. Although we do not know how this effect is produced or much about it. We don't know much about it. 2023 में भी ये लोग ये बोल रहे हैं. But emotion numbing effect, which is also given to treat ADHD. किसी का मूड स्विंग थोड़ा बहुत हो रहा है, उसको ये बोलने के बजाय कि अरे इतना मूड स्विंग्स मत करो, डोंट ओवर रिएक्ट, ये बोलने के बजाय ये लो थोड़ा भाई ADHD का मेडिकेशन, थोड़ा ट्राई करके देखो, सूंघ के देखो. How you first start consuming drugs or alcohol. That's how therapists behave. Okay. There are other explanations for antidepressants' effects. Okay, ये हो गया paragraph. There has been extensive research on the serotonin system since the 1990s, but it has not been collected systematically before. We conducted an umbrella review that involved systematically identifying and collating existing overviews of the evidence from each of the main areas of research into serotonin and depression. Although there have been systematic reviews of individual areas in the past, None have combined the evidence from all the different areas taking this approach. One area of research we included was research comparing levels of serotonin and its breakdown products in the blood or brain fluid. Overall, this research did not show a difference between people with depression and those without depression. Another area of research has focused on serotonin receptors, which are proteins on the ends of the nerves that serotonin links up with and which can transmit or inhibit serotonin's effects. Research on the most commonly investigated serotonin receptor suggested either no difference between people with depression and people without depression, or that serotonin activity was actually increased in people with depression, the opposite of the serotonin theory's prediction. What the fuck? Research on the serotonin quote unquote transporter, that is the protein which helps to terminate the effect of serotonin. This is the protein that SSRIs act on. Also suggested that, if anything, there was increased serotonin activity in people with depression. Look at this. There is increased serotonin activity in people with depression. However, these findings may be explained by the fact that many participants in these studies had used or were currently using antidepressants. Lol. We also looked at research that explored whether depression can be induced in volunteers by artificially lowering levels of serotonin. Two systematic reviews from 2006 and 2007 and a sample of the 10 most recent studies at the time the current research was conducted found that lowering serotonin did not produce depression in hundreds of healthy volunteers. Healthy volunteers जिसका brain health ठीक है, physical health ठीक है, इसलिए brain health ठीक है. See, one of the reviews showed very weak evidence of an effect in a small subgroup of people with a family history of depression, but this only involved 75 participants. Very large studies involving tens of thousands of patients looked at gene variation, including the gene that has the instructions for making the serotonin transporter. They found no difference in the frequency of varieties of this gene between people with depression and healthy controls. Although a famous early study found a relationship between the serotonin transporter gene and stressful life events, larger, more comprehensive studies suggest no such relationships exist. Stressful life events in themselves, however, exerted a strong effect on people's subsequent risk of developing depression. Yeah. मगर वो डिप्रेशन है, कोई डायग्नोसिस है कि वो सिर्फ सैडनेस है? And can that not be mitigated by workouts and good diet? Some of the studies in our overview that included people who were taking or had previously taken antidepressants showed evidence that antidepressants may actually lower the concentration or activity of serotonin. Wow. The serotonin theory of depression has been one of the most influential and extensively researched biological theories of the origins of depression. Our study shows that this view is not supported by scientific evidence. It also calls into question the basis for the use of antidepressants. Most antidepressants now in use are presumed to act via their effects on serotonin. Some also affect the brain chemical noradrenaline, but experts agree that the evidence for the involvement of noradrenaline in depression is weaker than that for serotonin. There is no other accepted pharmacological mechanism for how antidepressants might affect depression. If antidepressants exert their effects as placebos or by numbing emotions, then it is not clear that they do more good than harm. This is my main point. My second biggest point is that everything can be solved with workout and good diet, but even bigger than that, this is my point. Check out this paragraph once more. If antidepressants exert their effects as even placebos, अगर placebo से भी antidepressant का काम हो रहा है, or the real antidepressants are working simply as emotion numbing mechanisms, okay, emotions उतना feel ही मत करो, ठीक है, they are blunting out your emotions, then it is not clear whether they do more damage or they do more good. ये इसमें भी consensus नहीं है. Can you believe this? और ये सब इग्नोर करके पूरा दिन मेंटल हेल्थ अवेयरनेस मरवा रहे हैं. Okay, let me check some comments once. Meditation can have effect on serotonin. See, their argument is that serotonin is not even a factor here. As for meditation, meditation के लिए एक थोड़ा फैमिली का, कल्चर का, अपब्रिंगिंग का थोड़ा बहुत फैक्टर है, आई थिंक in today's era, because attention span has changed drastically, isn't it? हम लोगों का अटेंशन स्पैन एटलीस्ट, हम तो 90s वाले किड्स है, जो लोग 2000 एंड उसके बाद जन्मे हैं उनका अटेंशन स्पैन तो गया है कचरे में. तो उनको आप मेडिटेशन कैसे करवाएंगे? I think that's basically impossible and that should be given up and instead send them off to sports so that their pent up energy is burnt off. Until previous generation, meditation could have been a solution, and even today it can be a solution if they see their parents meditating frequently or regularly in a disciplined way. नहीं तो अकेले माँ बाप पूरे दिन बैठ के काम करेंगे और आईपीएल देखेंगे और बच्चे को बोलेंगे भाई थोड़ा ये मेडिटेशन कर ले, उससे नहीं होगा. Depression is caused by Shani. Beat that. Abhay is saying meditation is better way to heal depression than antidepressant pills. Yeah, I'm not sure about that, but it does help you to become stoic and be indifferent to emotions. Good enough. Even cigarette is an antidepressant. निकोटीन के बारे में एक मजेदार बात बताता हूँ आप लोगों को. Since wrestling is a big sport in USA, right? और वहां पे तो लोगों में इतना एटलीस्ट अवेयरनेस है कि ज्यादा सिगरेट कोई नहीं पीता है. Cigarette consumption is almost negligible in USA, but they have figured out that the tobacco which is soaked in nicotine inside the cigarette, that actually has some mental stimulation effects. Okay, so the high school wrestlers, the college level wrestlers are now buying cigarettes. They are taking out the tobacco from the cigarettes, putting it inside their wrestling shoes. Wrestling shoes are different from other sports shoes. Okay, just like running shoes are different, cricket shoes are different, boxing shoes are different, and football shoes are different, even wrestling shoes are different. It's a different purpose, no? So they are putting those cigarette wala tobacco under their feet inside the wrestling shoe, which is getting soaked into their blood. They are doing it just before their wrestling match. Okay, and they are saying that it is giving them some sort of थोड़ा mental concentration and focus and judging the distance, etc. They are getting an edge on that. So nicotine does help in that case, but it creates so much problems for your lungs. That's the problem. Sports is the only variable choice, at least आज के दिन के लिए. Absolutely yes. Okay, wait, I'm feeling very thirsty. हाँ, कहाँ तक हुआ? Although viewing depression as a biological disorder may seem like it would reduce stigma, जिसका चक्कर लिबरल्स पूरा दिन चला रहे हैं कि डिस्टिग्मेटाइज करते हैं मेंटल हेल्थ को. मेंटल हेल्थ इज जस्ट लाइक योर फिजिकल हेल्थ, even though mental health happens inside the brain, which is part of your physical health only. So in fact research has shown the opposite. Although viewing depression as a biological disorder may seem like it would reduce stigma, in fact research has shown the opposite, and also that people who believe their own depression is due to a chemical imbalance are more pessimistic about their chances of recovery. Can you believe this? I did not read the full paper. Okay, I had read only half of it and then decided that I'll read the entire thing in the live stream. So this is extremely fun, a fascinating discovery for me as well. This is everything I have been arguing basically. Can you believe this sentence? This is exactly what I have seen in those fake depression kids, or even all my friends who suffer from this. They are my friends, but they are wrong on this. And not all my friends who have suffered from depression hardcore have never played a sport. Only one friend I have who has played a sport when she was young, and then she got into depression because she left the sport. She was extremely obese and was taking 1,000 kinds of mental health pills, was talking about mental health stigma all the time. And now I convinced her to get into Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. Now she has a absolutely jacked and ripped body. She can basically kill any untrained man she meets on the road, and her depression is also gone. But anyway, shows that people who believe their own depression is due to a chemical imbalance are more pessimistic about their chances of recovery. इनको लगता है कि हमारा तो भाई ब्रेन ऐसा ही है, अब हम क्या करें, वर्कआउट करके क्या करें, क्या होगा, सब क्या, रिकवरी नहीं होगा हमारा. That is the conclusion they reach. It is important that people know that the idea that depression results from a so-called chemical imbalance is hypothetical, and we do not understand what temporarily elevating serotonin or other biochemical changes produced by antidepressants do to the brain, and especially because it's artificially done. We conclude that it is impossible to say that taking SSRI antidepressants is worthwhile or even completely safe. People need all this information to make informed decisions about whether or not to take antidepressants. Insane. This should be uploaded as a short. Yes, I'm going to. Ankit Shetty is saying that's why the phrase touch grass is such an important message. I guess every YouTuber should end their video with this phrase. I see. Someone clip that laugh. Me material. Mine by Swami Vivekananda. My name is inspired by Lord Sai Baba. I just asked you about movie. Okay, now don't take cover cause great content is ongoing. Okay. I thought I have researched in antidepressant drugs. I am against any commercialization of the disease. Okay, good. Though I have researched in antidepressant drugs, I am against any commercialization of disease. Good. Yeah. Okay. Fair enough. Yeah, because see, I'll agree this much that some people may have some brain problem. If some people can be born without an arm, without an eye, some people may be born blind, some people may be born deaf. Why can't some people be born deaf or born depressed? Okay, किसी के ब्रेन में कुछ डिफॉर्मिटी सच में हो ही सकता है, but it cannot be a mass occurrence. It's becoming a mass occurrence because we have accepted it, then made it an aspirational model immediately because of Hollywood. That's where we need to draw a line. अगर 10 आदमी का कोई ग्रुप है, उसमें 2 लोगों को सचमुच क्रच लग सकता है चलने के लिए, उसके पैर में सचमुच कोई प्रॉब्लम हो सकता है. दैट डज नॉट मीन दैट एनीवन जिसके पैर में थोड़ा मच्छर भी काटा है उसको भी आप क्रच दे दे, बोले कि आप इससे क्रच से ही चलो अच्छा लगेगा. आपको अवेयरनेस करना है कि क्रच यूज कितना अच्छा है, एंड लेट्स डीस्टिग्मेटाइज क्रच, टेकिंग द हेल्प ऑफ क्रचेस, एंड सो यू टेक द हेल्प ऑफ क्रचेस एंड फॉरगेट हाउ टू वॉक और रन and without and or perform without crutches. That is the problem of the mental health mafia industry. Non-hybrid cannabis is useful or no? Your opinion? Illegal stuff, bro. What's the point? You'll go to jail. Okay, our next topic for discussion. Yeah, now we will have to get into some transgenderism issues because one of this is about California, one of this is about Kolkata. Okay, so hear me out. We have to discuss these two absolutely mind-boggling incidents. Let's check out some comments also before that. Ankit Shetty is saying this is the same as wearing glasses can be they make you look cool. Yes, but the problem is the glasses that you use to just look cool, उसमें actually power नहीं रहता है. यहाँ पे डिप्रेशन कूल है इसलिए जो मेडिसिन ले रहे हैं वो डिप्रेशन, वो मेडिसिन तो सब कुछ शरीर में प्रॉब्लम्स क्रिएट कर रहे हैं. मोदी पसमानदा लवर कार्विंग रोड फॉर गजवाए हिंद. नॉट रियली, बट थोड़ा डिले हो रहा है कुछ कामों में. लेट्स बी फेयर टू हिम. India needs to develop its own psychology and psychiatry. Yes, there is a good Instagram channel called Hindu Parenting. Okay, today only when I was coincidentally going to discuss this on my live stream, they just came up with a great post about a 53-minute podcast. Okay, on how to counter American mental health propaganda with Hindu Indic views on psychology and mental health. Okay, you all should check that out. It's a Instagram channel called Hindu Parenting. ये कहाँ से आ गया? ही इज एकम सनातन भारत सपोर्टर. ओके, গড়িয়াতে ফলের দোকানগুলোতে পেয়ে যাবে নন হাইব্রিড ক্যানাবিস. Okay, check this out, guys. Proposed California bill would brand parents abusive if they refuse to affirm their transgender children's identity, and this bill will let social workers take youngsters into care. Can you believe this? Can you believe what is happening in California? Can you understand that this is coming to India very soon? If people like our CGI friend have their way. Okay, he is in support of all these things. Gay rights के चक्कर में ये सब conversation शुरू कर दिया उन्होंने. So these are definitely coming to India's shores very soon. So we have to be prepared and ready to counter these bullshit things. Look at this. So many flaws in just the sentence construction only. रिफ्यूज टू अफर्म देयर ट्रांसजेंडर चिल्ड्रंस आइडेंटिटी. ओके, अफर्म क्यों करे? अगर आपका पैर टूट गया है और आप डॉक्टर के पास गए, आपको क्या अफर्म किया जाता है कि हाँ आपका पैर टूटा हुआ है और टूटा हुआ ही रहेगा भोसरी के, आप सिर्फ प्लास्टर लगा के घर पे बैठे रहिए? नहीं, प्लास्टर भी लेने का जरूरत नहीं है क्योंकि हमने तो अफर्म कर दिया है आपको. हमने तो आपको नेगेटिव नहीं बोला कि नहीं पैर क्यों टूटा, हमको तो ऑपरेशन करके ठीक करना होगा. ठीक नहीं करना है, हमको अफर्म करना है. ओके, सो If the parents refuse to affirm their kids' transgenderism bullshit, their kids will be taken away from them by social workers. Social workers. And you know in India what social work means, because we export all these to USA, isn't it? And UK. Social worker means a commie who is going to hamper all progress of the country. A proposed amendment to a bill in California would classify parents who refuse to affirm their child's gender as abusive. They are going to be called abusive, toxic parents, and could result in revoked custody. This is proposed by Democratic Assembly member Lori Wilson and State Senator Scott Weiner amends the state family code, which addresses the quote health, safety, and welfare of the child in every household. If passed, the law could see children pulled from their parents' home if their family members have what the state deems anti-LGBTQ plus ideals. अगर पेरेंट्स का एंटी LGBTQ plus हुआ तो तुम्हारा बेटा हम लेके चले जाएंगे, हम किडनैप कर लेंगे लीगली. कैन यू बिलीव दिस फकिंग स्टेट? एंड their GDP is as big as India. Representative Wilson, who has a transgender son, said during a recent meeting that she believes parents supporting their child's gender is in the best interests of the kid. Now, do you know what's the biggest counter they use in this case? They say that otherwise they will kill themselves. Okay. Would you like to see your daughter transition, or would you like to see your daughter dead? So not only is their daughter or son threatening them indirectly, the doctor and the government is fucking threatening them directly. And when have you ever been in a situation where when someone has threatened you with suicide and you have listened to them and that has acted out to your benefit and that has led to anything good in your life? No one should ever encourage anyone who threatens you with suicide. And that is also not the case when someone asks you for money, or your kid asks you for money and says that I'm going to kill myself if you don't give me this amount of money, or I'm going to kill myself if you don't give me this mobile phone, or I'm going to kill myself if you don't give me this motorcycle. Some people do end up killing themselves because of that. But it's still better to take the chance and to convince them in some other way that no, there are other ways to enjoy life. I don't have the money to give you this bike right now, or you should not ride a bike right now. Please don't kill your fucking self, but I'm not going to give you the money anyway. And if even after that some people do commit suicide, we can't help it, because otherwise we are just going to have an entire population of citizens who are just going to threaten everyone with every topic they are going to approach with suicide. They're going to ask the government for things and then say that we are going to commit suicide if you don't give me this thing. Okay, that's a problem. Suicide threats should never be encouraged or entertained. But the entire transgenderism for kids debate conversation is based on this threat of suicide. Quote, we should be affirming our children in every possible way. What is this? What kind of parenting is this? We should be affirming our children in every possible way. तो parenting कहाँ से हुआ वो? Parenting is about guidance, leadership, showing paths, telling what is wrong, what is right. If we are going to say that some things are right, that definitely means some things are wrong indirectly. And even then, some parents will have to say in some topics that no, this thing is definitely directly wrong. But this stupid Democrat is saying that you should always affirm your children on everything. Literally in every possible way. So you are never going to call out any bullshit of your kids. You are never going to say that your kid is wrong in any way. How is that going to ever work? How is a society or a country going to work in 20 or 30 years? We should be okay. ये तो हो गया. The bill originally passed in the California Assembly on May 3rd, but was amended on June 6th by State Senator Weiner. It will need to pass again with revisions. Under the revision to the family code, courts would be given complete authority to remove children from their homes if their parents do not affirm their gender. The change would also make it so that schools, churches, and other organizations would need to affirm the gender identity of a child or face repercussions. Churches को follow करना होगा. ये हमारे पत्थरबाज को बोल रहा है. ये सिर्फ चर्च को बोल रहा है. Can you believe that? This is a direct trampling of religious rights. This is their equivalent of Sabrimala. ये क्या बोल रहा है? चर्च को बोल रहा है कि तुम अपना अपना रिलीजियस थॉट छोड़ो, तुम बैठ के जेंडर रिअफर्म करो. This is because the revisions would change the definition of what is considered to impact quote unquote health, safety, and welfare of a child. Individuals and organizations who refuse or do not acknowledge a child's gender identity could potentially face abuse charges. So basically, my video might get taken down because of abuse. However, a spokesperson for Representative Wilson's office said the bill only applies to family law and not criminal law. Okay, thank you. The revisions have already been slammed by those who say the state should not step into private residences to monitor each child's gender and their parents' response. Nicole Peterson, founder of Facts Law Truth Justice, told the Daily Signal that the law is quote unquote horrifying and troublesome for parents everywhere. Quote, if a parent or a guardian is unwilling or simply not ready to affirm their 7-year old's new identity as they transition from SpongeBob to Batman to Dora the Explorer, they can be found guilty of child abuse under AB 957 if it passes into law, she said. This is that Lori Wilson, okay? Lori Wilson. This is the person who is coming up with this bill. Okay. This is a horrifying bill for children and for parents and guardians, not just in California but across the country. And this is going to be propagated in India very soon by India's liberals. She went on to mention that should California Governor Gavin Newsom run in the 2028 presidential election, she believes he would bring this law to every state. San Francisco lawyer Erin Friday told Washington Free Beacon, said she believes AB 957 that bill's revisions could escalate to more boundary pushing laws. It's not a giant leap, it's a tiny step to get there, said Friday. We know exactly where they are going with it. I didn't think the bill could get worse, but it got worse, she continued, saying she worries. The language of the revisions is ambiguous and does not go into the specifics of how the law would be enforced and in what situations. It also does not mention the age range for children that this could fall upon or make a distinction between quote unquote affirming and quote unquote sex change. The law would ask judges to consider parents' rejection or non affirmation of their child's gender paramount to physical abuse or neglect. This revised bill comes as Wiener is also advancing a bill that would require foster parents to affirm identity of children who identify as transgender. हर जगह में हर लोगों को बोल दिया जा रहा है कि तुमको एफर करना है, कहां जाएगा एफर्म नहीं करके. Wiener previously made headlines for sponsoring a bill that would allow children to come from out of state to obtain sex change procedures in California. ठीक है. Let's check some comments again, then we'll get into how this affects India already, okay? Nino is saying India has always hidden Vishwaguru in wokeism. Always been, yes. And I was reading Madness of Crowds by Douglas Murray, no? They were saying all descriptions of gheraos in colleges in UK, USA. Where have they learned from? They have learned from Indian communists and mostly from Bengali communists only. We should not encourage this at all, yes. Please discuss an anti-Hindu SB 403 bill. Hindus must do protest against it. अच्छा, क्या है बिल का टॉपिक? आप बताइए थोड़ा, तो हम दूसरे दिन डिस्कस कर लेंगे, क्योंकि आज का टॉपिक सिर्फ इंटरनेशनल पॉलिटिक्स है. Even discussion like whether eating meat is ethical or not can go up to the point where killing plants for food will also be discussed. Okay, yes, there are activists who talk about not killing plants. इसका नाम ही विनर है. इससे क्या आशा कर सकते हैं? सारा रायता हम ही फैलाते हैं. Yes, get out. Okay. The next thing we have to discuss is the transgender incident of SRFTI. Okay, guys. सत्यजीत रे फिल्म एंड टेलीविजन इंस्टीट्यूट में एक दलित ट्रांस बंदे का प्रॉब्लम हो गया थोड़ा, तो उसमें से we will discuss with the live chat basically what are your suggestions with this. Okay, first let me discuss point out the exact incident. So, month long wait for SRFTI trans student for hostel. Zina Sagar, a Dalit trans woman student from of the SRFTI from Jaipur, that person is from Jaipur, has been waiting for nearly a month to get a written response from the institute to her application for getting accommodation at the women's hostel. The application also contained the gender identity dysphoria letter from the student's psychiatrist and her endocrinologist's note. Yeah. Psychiatrist ने बोला है तब तो ठीक ही होगा. SRFTI has recently been in the news for students' protests regarding the handling of sexual harassment cases and the removal of the presiding officer of SRFTI's Internal Complaints Committee, which is also the associate professor. अरे दूसरा खबर बताने बैठ गया, ये मुझे नहीं जानना है. SRFTI director Himanshu Khatua said, till further order, we have requested the head of the cinematography department. अरे पूरा अलग टॉपिक डिस्कस हो रहा है, क्या चूतिया जर्नलिज्म है ये. लो. In the application to the administration, Zina identified herself as, quote, a trans feminine person who is undergoing medical transition. I find myself in an extraordinary circumstance and require immediate assistance. I'm in the process of applying for my trans ID. I will furnish my identification once I receive it. I would like to point out that the whole process takes at least 3 to 4 months, even though speedy disposal is given in the law for such applications. She wrote to the SRFTI administration on May 15th. With no written response yet, the student of SRFTI's producing department student also shot a letter to the West Bengal Transgender Persons Development Board alleging discrimination on the basis of her gender identity as a trans woman. The other big problem is that due to the ongoing medical transition expenses, Zina does not have the financial resources to continue staying in her current accommodation beyond June 30. ठीक है, ये तो दुख का बात है. Okay, so now tell me guys, what should have been done here? Because ट्रांसजेंडर है तो क्या करे. अब हम उनको तो नहीं समझा सकते बैठ के कि नहीं नहीं देखो तुमने तो गलत सोच लिया, ट्रांसजेंडर नाम का कुछ चीज नहीं है. वी कांट गो मैट वॉल्श ऑन हर ऑब्वियसली. Suggest me what should be done by SRFTI here. My idea is that she should not be allowed in women's hostels and women's rooms. But what can be done is, since SRFTI is a government funded organization, but it charges a huge sum from the students as well, right? I think when I had planned to get into SRFTI after my high school, I didn't know that you actually need graduation before you get into SRFTI. It's postgraduate level. So that time the fees were about 55,000 rupees. So my suggestion is that I think a separate transgender hostel should be made. उसमें जाके रहो. But women's hostel में इनको घुसने नहीं देना चाहिए. Okay. Let's see what the SB 403 bill is. Deliberately introduced by Soros and Pakistan-backed Equality Labs of California. अरे targeting Hindus using caste discrimination. अच्छा. Yes. हाँ, वो तो कैलिफोर्निया में ऑलरेडी एक इंडियन रिपब्लिकन ने ऑलरेडी उसको ठोक दिया है. वो वहां पे काउंटर हो रहा है अच्छे से. Good that you pointed out, but we will specifically discuss that as well someday. Nino is saying, I'm in Europe and some toilets, trans people are supposed to enter men's toilet, not women's. Yeah, I think we should have separate rooms and separate toilets. Rohan is saying, Sala Harek woke and commie cheese mein Bengal ka naam. We are the leaders, bro. Man, what is this British accent? Good ka to. Okay. The next topic we have to discuss is actually wait. StreamYard se kaise karte hain? Yeah. This I had not written down in my topic list, but I remembered Gavin Newsom's name, and that's why I remembered that we have to discuss this as well. Okay. ये लोग जो बोल रहे हैं कि राहुल गांधी भाई के साथ कितना अत्याचार हो रहा है भारतवर्ष में, मगर वहां पे जो बाइडेन एब्सोल्युटली गलत एकदम मीनिंगलेस केस ठोक के रखा है डोनाल्ड ट्रंप के अगेंस्ट. ठीक है, उसको देख के कैलिफोर्निया के गवर्नर को लगा कि चलो हम भी ऐसा कुछ करते हैं. तो उसने बोला है, उसने थ्रेटन किया है कि वो फ्लोरिडा के गवर्नर रॉन डिसेंटिस, जो कि टेलीपैथी से मेरा यूट्यूब चैनल देख के उसको लगा कि सोशियोलॉजी डिफंड करना चाहिए और उसने जेंडर स्टडीज और डीआई स्टडीज डिफंड कर दिया ऑलरेडी फ्लोरिडा में, उसको बोल रहा है कि उसके अगेंस्ट कुछ लीगल एक्शन लेगा कैलिफोर्निया का गवर्नर. ठीक है, यूएसए का लीस्ट पॉपुलर गवर्नर इज गोइंग टू अरेस्ट अपेरेंटली bring criminal procedure against the most popular governor. Okay, and this time in the 2022 उनके जो गवर्नर इलेक्शंस थे उनमें से सबसे बड़े मार्जिन से ये फ्लोरिडा का गवर्नर ही जीता है. उसके अगेंस्ट ये भोसरी वाला केस करेगा. ठीक है, वो न्यूज थोड़ा देखते हैं. केविन न्यूसम रॉन. तो देखो, ये इंडिया का जो डेमोक्रेसी का खराब हाल है बिकॉज ऑफ राहुल गांधी गोइंग टू जेल और गेटिंग अरेस्टेड. See how that is the same thing happens in USA and it's not covered in the same light. Okay, we have to point these out. They are threatening their rivals with prison. Even Donald Trump threatened that with Hillary Clinton during the presidential debate when he said that because he'd been in jail, but he didn't actually send her to jail. She should have been in jail for the exact same things that Joe Biden has also done, and for the same things now Donald Trump is being indicted. That's the same thing Hillary Clinton did, but Trump did not send her to jail. But this is the condition of USA's liberals. Inside the deepening rivalry between Ron DeSantis and Gavin Newsom, California Governor Gavin Newsom says there's no chance on God's green earth he's running for president in 2024, but he wants to make clear that Florida governor who is running is weak and undisciplined and will be crushed by Donald Trump. Okay. उसका अरेस्ट का खबर कहाँ पे है? Newsom addressed his contempt for DeSantis and his loyalty to President Joe Biden. अरे ये फालतू का बातें हो रहा है यहाँ पे, ये सॉफ्ट न्यूज है. Team has been moving deliberately to avoid perception, challenging Republicans. Newsom नहीं, यहाँ पे नहीं दिया है. ओके, कोई और आर्टिकल ढूंढना पड़ेगा. ये दो जगह में सेम हेडलाइन का खबर कैसे आ गया? एक्सप्लोडिंग डॉन डिसेंटिस एंड गैविन न्यूसम्स डीपनिंग राइवलरी. अजीब बात है. यस, ये देखो, कैलिफोर्निया गवर्नर थ्रेटन्स फ्लोरिडा गवर्नर, जो कि अच्छा काम कर रहा है, जिसकी वजह से पूरा का पूरा यूएसए वहां पे जाके बैठ चुका है. उस गवर्नर को ये अरेस्ट करवाएगा. अरे और कितना ऐड है. Governor Gavin Newsom took his feud with Governor Ron DeSantis to new heights on Monday, seemingly threatening him with kidnapping charges after California officials say South American migrants were sent to Sacramento by the state of Florida as a political stunt. Okay, do you guys know what this incident is? California is a quote unquote sanctuary state. Okay, इन लोगों का मानना है कि बॉर्डर वर्डर वो तो बच्चों के लिए है, हम तो पूरे दुनिया के लोगों के लिए हम अपना दरवाजा खुला रखेंगे, सबको आ जाना चाहिए, सबको यूएसए में घर मिलना चाहिए, क्योंकि वो लोग आके डेमोक्रेट ही वोट करेंगे, उनको हम समझा देंगे कि ये रिपब्लिकन कंजर्वेटिव सब व्हाइट सुप्रीमेसिस्ट होते हैं और हिंदू कास्टिस्ट होते हैं, और आप लोग सब हम जैसे अच्छे डेमोक्रेट्स के लिए वोट कीजिए. तो इनको इमिग्रेंट्स, इलीगल इमिग्रेंट्स बहुत अच्छे लगते हैं. सी हाउ दैट्स सिमिलर टू आवर इमिग्रेंट फैंस ऑलरेडी, राइट? our पत्थरबाज फैंस आर आल्सो कम्युनिस्ट एंड लिबरल्स. सो ये फ्लोरिडा के गवर्नर ने क्या किया, उसके वहां जो जितने साउथ अमेरिकन इमिग्रेंट्स आए थे, उनमें से बहुत से लोगों को रॉन डिसेंटिस ने बस में बिठा के कैलिफोर्निया भेज दिया. बोला कि अच्छा, बॉर्डर ओपन होना चाहिए, इमिग्रेंट्स अच्छे हैं, इमिग्रेंट्स को घर नहीं मिल रहा है, तुम रखो, जाओ अपने स्टेट में जगह दो. इमीडिएटली बवाल मच गया. सब सैंक्चुअरी स्टेट्स के सेलिब्रिटीज भी बोलने लगे, नहीं नहीं हमारे स्टेट में क्यों वो ला रहे हो. और कुछ सेलिब्रिटीज बोलने लगे कि हमारे जो गेटेड कम्युनिटीज है वहां पे इनको क्यों डाला जा रहा है, यहाँ पे क्यों इनके होमलेस टेंट वेंट लग रहे हैं हमारे यहाँ पे फुटपाथ में. ठीक है, मगर यही लोग पूरे दिन बाकी समय बोलते हैं कि नहीं नहीं इमिग्रेशन थोड़ा लैक्स होना चाहिए, बॉर्डर पे इतना कठोर नहीं होना चाहिए यूएस गवर्नमेंट को, व्हिच इज व्हाट आवर लिबरल्स ऑलवेज से एनीवे, दैट इलीगल इमिग्रेशन हुआ तो क्या हुआ, सीए काहे करना है, किसी को वापस क्यों भेजना है, आए हैं तो गरीब है बेचारे. So that is the same thing. Okay, US state politics is still not even 100th as interesting as Indian state politics. Things will improve, let's be optimistic. Okay, Hindus are most prone to attacks because Hindu dharma is an unorganized dharma. We Hindus have to make compulsory do's and don'ts for Hindus to strengthen us. उसके लिए थोड़ा यूनिटी चाहिए, और यूनिटी के लिए कास्टिज्म, वर्ण व्यवस्था का फैंडम थोड़ा कम होना पड़ेगा. अभी कुछ दिन पहले भी मुझे एक मेरे YouTube शॉर्ट्स में किसी ने आके मुझे चमार का बच्चा बोल दिया, तो उसके दूसरे शॉर्ट्स में ही नव बौद्ध मुझे आके गाली दे रहे हैं, उसके ऊपर में ब्राह्मण आके मुझे गाली दे रहे हैं. तो ऐसे कैसे चलेगा बाबा. अरे उस चुड़ैल को नहीं देखा, क्या नाम है, कमला पसंद. कमला पसंद तो कल मोदी के साथ बैठेंगे डिनर पे. ओके, न्यूसम, अ डेमोक्रेट, साइटेड उसको किडनैपिंग चार्जेस देगा. ठीक है, क्योंकि फ्लोरिडा गवर्नर ने बस में बिठा के इमिग्रेंट्स को कैलिफोर्निया में भेज दिया, क्योंकि कैलिफोर्निया है ऑफिशियली सैंक्चुअरी स्टेट, तो इसलिए कैलिफोर्निया का गवर्नर बोल रहा है कि नहीं नहीं तुमने किडनैप कर लिया, बस में काहे उठाया. So, Newsom, a Democrat, cited state kidnapping laws in a tweet to the Florida governor and Republican presidential hopeful, whom he called, quote, a small, pathetic man. This isn't Martha's Vineyard. Kidnapping charges? Newsom said in the tweet, रेफरेंसिंग डिसेंटिस एक्शन लास्ट ईयर. अब अच्छा, लास्ट ईयर का एक्शन आज इस ईयर में क्यों याद आ रहा है? क्योंकि इसको छुप छुप के प्रेसिडेंशियल कैंडिडेट का बैकअप बनना है. अगर अगर जो बाइडेन फिर से कभी इधर उधर गिर जाए तो इसको बैकअप बनना है, ठीक है. और एक और बात है कि जो बाइडेन ने अभी एस्पिरेशनल मॉडल बना दिया है कि डोनाल्ड ट्रंप को हमने ऐसे ही जेल भिजवा रहे हैं, तो अब भी बाकी सब यही कर लो. Okay. Referencing to DeSantis' action last year to send a group of Venezuelan migrants to the wealthy liberal vacation spot in Massachusetts. हाँ, वहाँ पे जाओ, अच्छे से रहो, क्या प्रॉब्लम है? 16 migrants from Venezuela and Colombia were transported from Texas to New Mexico and flown on a chartered jet to Sacramento, where they were dropped off Friday at a church, Newsom said. On Monday, a plane carrying 20 migrants arrived in Sacramento. Both groups were flown by the same contractor and were carrying documents indicating that their transportation involved the state of Florida, according to officials with the California Department of Justice. Okay, this is hilarious. Yes, Ron DeSantis is absolutely gigachat in this case, but he will lose to Donald Trump, and he's not very charismatic. He's not going to podcasts. He does not like long form discussions. He does not like unscripted, spontaneous discussions. He's very plastic in that sense, but he's a good administrator. Everyone loves Florida. All commies of the entire country is going to Florida, are going to Florida. Okay. uh, मुंह में रॉन डिसेंटिस कदमों में कैलिफोर्निया. Okay, our next topic of discussion is a bit of a conspiracy theory. Okay, incidentally, most of our live viewers just went away, but I hope some of them come back because we have some 9/11 conspiracy to discuss, guys. I don't know if you all have seen the news. Do you know what news has recently come up? We are going to discuss that now. First of all, by a show of hands in the comment section, in the live chat, tell me how many of you all believe in the 9/11 conspiracy theories. Okay, I did not believe in any 9/11 conspiracy theory up until yesterday, because because 9/11 happened so many years back. I researched all the 9/11 conspiracies so long back that I even forgot what are the evidences that they claim to have against the claim that Taliban did it or Al Qaeda did it. Right? They say that US government did it themselves or the CIA did it so that they could use it as an excuse to attack Iraq. I did not believe it until yesterday because the evidence seemed very weak to me. Yesterday, some new information has come up. Two of the plane hijackers who used the plane to push it into World Trade Center, two of them were recruited by CIA. Okay, that's the latest news, and no one is really covering it. I think Palki Sharma covered it to a little extent. I don't even know what conspiracy other than that Osama ji did it. Yeah, that's what I believed until yesterday. Trillions of dollars being accounted for, same floor gets divided, bomb by... Yeah, there are lots of theories about that. US on one hand doing engagement with Bharat and on the other hand actively working on doing regime change in pro-Bharat leaders in Bharat's neighborhood, especially Bangladesh. Absolutely correct. But in this case, Samir Saran pointed out something very good, and he's absolutely right on this. He's saying that, see, there is a deep state in USA, right? But that warmongering deep state, CIA, FBI, or whoever's in the bureaucracy who is part of that deep state now, they want USA to have a good relations with they want good relations between USA and India. Okay, because whether they want India to buy their weapons or they want Indian army as partners in their counter to China, whatever the reason may be, but they are the ones who want the India-USA relationships, India-USA relationship. But it is the US State Department and their foreign policy and their liberals mainly who are doing all these subversions in Indian society and encouraging all the wokeism or the other Azad Kashmir or the human rights violations conversations, and that Chutia LA mayor who has come as US ambassador. They are the people who are now at loggerheads with their US deep state or the CIA or the people who actually want good India USA relationships. What's up with Vivek Ramaswamy? Great things are up with Vivek Ramaswamy. Vivek Ramaswamy did one insane thing. He challenged all Republican nominees and even two Democrat nominees, RFK Jr. and Marianne Williamson, who are kind of outside the establishment, to say that if they become president, they will pardon Donald Trump because it's an absolutely politicized indictment that they are that the Democratic Party is doing right now, and he will do it definitely. He has already said it, and he's challenging other Republican politicians or candidates and two Democrat politicians as well, that show me you are outside the fold, show me you are outside the swamp, promise that if you become the president, you will pardon Donald Trump. And he's saying that I know that they will have a problem with it, and they will have a problem with it because of the same reasons that I'm having a problem with it. Vivek Ramaswamy is saying, I'm quoting him, which is that the donor classes, they are saying to Vivek Ramaswamy that no, keep your hands off this, don't talk about this much. So Vivek Ramaswamy has put the ball in their court, and and they will have to say that no, we care about truth and justice and Donald Trump more than we care about our donations. So let's see what happens. US already had pro US government in Sri Lanka, Pakistan, and probably Nepal too. नेपाल का तो माओइस्ट गवर्नमेंट है, उनका तो प्रो चाइना गवर्नमेंट है वैसे भी. कॉमीज अब फ्लोरिडा का सत्यानाश करेंगे. यस, दे विल वोट. नॉट सो फार अवे. Okay, because this time since after corona so many Democrats went to Florida, but this time Ron DeSantis won with an extra 1 million vote majority. Okay, and especially there's a county, small neighborhood called Dade County, which has not voted Republican in last 20 years. They voted for a Republican for the first time in 20 years for Ron DeSantis. Unbelievable. Okay, so Democrats who are going to Florida are probably not voting Democrat as of yet. It might change. Nevada had changed in the same way. नेवाडा इतना अच्छा हो गया था, कैलिफोर्निया और बाकी डेमोक्रेट स्टेट में इतना चूतियापा हो रहा था, वहां से सब डेमोक्रेट्स जाके नेवाडा चले गए, नेवाडा को डेमोक्रेट बना दिया. अभी इस बार 2022 में फिर से नेवाडा में रिपब्लिकन गवर्नर आया है, मगर वो भी 0.5% के मार्जिन से जीता है. और ऑस्टिन का भी सेम हाल है. सब मैक्सिमम एनआरआईज टेक्सास में जाते हैं तो ऑस्टिन में रहते हैं. पूरा का पूरा टेक्सास कंजर्वेटिव है, अकेला ऑस्टिन पूरा लिबरल हो चुका है बिकॉज ऑफ एनआरआई कॉमीज ओनली. Ganga Chad, yes, that's a good term. Okay, so now let's check out some of the news. Okay, that these hijackers, CIA hijackers, were CIA recruits. At least two 9/11 hijackers had been recruited into a joint CIA Saudi intelligence operation that was covered up at the highest level, according to an explosive new court filing. A newly released court filing raises grave questions about the relationship between Alex Station. Okay, Alex Station वो जगह का नाम था. Alex Station was a group of CIA unit who were specifically investigating Osama bin Laden. So a newly released court filing raises grave questions about the relationship between Alex Station, a CIA unit set up to crack Al-Qaeda chief Osama bin Laden and his associates, and two 9/11 hijackers leading up to the attacks, which was subject to a cover-up at the highest levels of the FBI. Obtained by Spy Talk, the filing is a 21-page declaration by Don Canestraro, a lead investigator for the Office of Military Commissions, the legal body overseeing the cases of 9/11 defendants. It summarizes classified government discovery disclosures and private interviews he conducted with anonymous high-ranking CIA and FBI officials. And Vivek Ramaswamy has said that he will close down the FBI. Okay, many agents who spoke to Canestraro headed up Operation Encore, the bureau's aborted, long-running probe into Saudi government connections into the 9/11 attack. Okay, despite conducting multiple lengthy interviews with a range of witnesses, producing hundreds of pages of evidence, formally investigating several Saudi officials, and launching a grand jury to probe a Riyadh-run US-based support network for the hijackers, Encore was abruptly terminated in 2016. This was purportedly due to a Byzantine intra-FBI bust-up over investigative methods. When originally released in 2021 on the office's public court docket, every part of the document was redacted, except an unclassified marking. Given its explosive contents, it is not difficult to see why. As Canestraro's investigation concluded, at least two 9/11 hijackers had been recruited either knowingly or unknowingly into a joint CIA Saudi intelligence operation which may have gone awry. A 50-50 chance of Saudi involvement. In 1996, Alex Station was created under the watch of the CIA. The initiative was supposed to comprise a joint investigative effort with the FBI. However, FBI operatives assigned to the unit soon found they were prohibited from passing any information to the Bureau's head office without the CIA's authorization, and faced harsh penalties for doing so. Efforts to share information with the FBI's equivalent unit, the I-49 squad based in New York, were repeatedly blocked. In late 1999, with the system blinking red, quote unquote, about an imminent large scale Al Qaeda terror attack inside the US, the CIA and NSA were closely monitoring an operational cadre within an Al Qaeda cell that included the Saudi nationals Nawaf al Hazmi and Khalid al Midhar. The pair would purportedly go on to hijack American Airlines Flight 77, which crashed into the Pentagon on 9/11. Al Hazmi and Al Midhar had attended an Al Qaeda summit that took place between January 5 and 8, 2000, in Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia. The meeting was secretly photographed and videotaped by local authorities at Alex Station's request, although apparently no audio was captured. En route, Midhar transited through Dubai, where CIA operatives broke into his hotel and photocopied his passport. It showed that he possessed a multi entry visa to the US. A contemporaneous internal CIA cable stated this information was immediately passed to the FBI, quote unquote, for further investigation. In reality, Alex Station, that unit, not only failed to inform the Bureau of Midhar's US visa, but also expressly forbade two FBI agents assigned to the unit from doing so. They asked the FBI agents to not investigate this. Quote, I said, we've got to tell the Bureau about this, the FBI. These guys clearly are bad. We've got to tell the FBI, end quote. And then the CIA said to me, quote, no, it's not the FBI's case, not the FBI's jurisdiction. Mark Rossini, one of the FBI agents in question, has alleged, if we had picked up the phone and called the Bureau, I would have been violating the law. I would have been removed from the building that day. I would have had my clearances suspended, and I would be gone. On January 15, Hazmi and Midhar entered the US through Los Angeles International Airport, just weeks after the foiled Millennium Plot. Omar al Bayoumi, a Saudi government ghost employee, immediately met them at an airport restaurant. After a brief conversation, Bayoumi helped them find an apartment near his own in San Diego, co-signed their lease, set them up bank accounts, and gifted $1,500 towards their rent. The three would have multiple contracts moving forward. In interviews with Operation Encore investigators years later, Bayoumi alleged his run-in with with the two would-be hijackers was mere happenstance. By chance ho gaya. His extraordinary practical and financial support was, he claimed, simply charitable, motivated by sympathy for the pair who could barely speak English and were unfamiliar with Western culture. The Bureau disagreed, concluding Bayoumi was a Saudi spy who handled a number of Al Qaeda operatives in the US. They also considered there to be a quote unquote 50-50 chance that he, and by extension Riyadh, Saudi Arabia capital, had detailed advanced knowledge of the 9/11 attacks. That remarkable finding wasn't known publicly until 2 decades later, when a tranche of Operation Encore documents were declassified upon the Biden administration's orders, and it was completely ignored by the mainstream media. Because in even Washington Post, New York Times, everyone, MSNBC, everyone supported the Iraq war. Don Canestraro's declaration now reveals FBI investigators went even further in their assessments. A Bureau special agent, dubbed CS3 in the document, stated Bayoumi's contact with the hijackers and support thereafter, quote, was done at the behest of the CIA through the Saudi intelligence service. Alex Station's explicit purpose was to, quote, recruit Al Hazmi and Al Midhar via a liaison relationship with the assistance of Riyadh's General Intelligence Directorate. A most unusual CIA unit. Alex Station's formal remit was to track bin Laden, quote, to collect intelligence on him, run operations against him, disrupt his finances, and warn policymakers about his activities and intentions. These activities would naturally entail enlisting informants within Al Qaeda. Nonetheless, as several high-level sources told Canestraro, it was extremely quote-unquote unusual for such an entity to be involved in gathering intelligence and recruiting assets. The US-based unit was run by CIA analysts who do not typically manage human assets. Legally, that work is the exclusive preserve of case officers who are quote-unquote trained in covert operations and who are based overseas. CS10, a CIA case officer within Alex Station, concurred with the proposition that Hazmi and Midhar enjoyed a relationship with the CIA through Bayoumi and was baffled that the unit was tasked with attempting to penetrate Al Qaeda in the first place. They felt, quote, that it would be nearly impossible to develop informants inside the group given the quote unquote virtual station was because the virtual station was based in a Langley basement. वो जो यहाँ के CIA का हेडक्वार्टर है लैंगली में. Langley is I think in Virginia, several thousand miles from the countries where Al Qaeda was suspected operating. तो वहां से कैसे होगा ये इनका मानना था. CS10 further testified that they quote unquote observed other unusual activities at Alex Station. Analysts within the unit would direct operations to case officers in the field by sending the officers cables instructing them to do a specific tasking, which was quote unquote a violation of CIA procedures. Analysts quote normally lack the authority to direct a case officer to do anything, end quote. Now, CS11, a CIA operations specialist posted to Alex Station sometime prior to the 9/11 attacks, said they likewise, quote, observed activity that appeared to be outside normal CIA procedures. Analysts within the unit mostly stuck to themselves and did not interact frequently with others. When communicating with one another through internal cables, they also used operational pseudonyms, which CS11 described as peculiar, as they were not working undercover. And their employment with the CIA was not classified information. The unit's unusual operational culture may explain some of the stranger decisions made during this period vis-a-vis Al-Qaeda informants. In early 1998, while on a CIA mission to penetrate London's Islamist scene, a joint FBI-CIA informant named Okai Collins received a stunning offer, which was that bin Laden himself wanted him to go to Afghanistan so they could meet. Collins relayed the request to his superiors while the FBI was in favor of infiltrating Al-Qaeda's base. His CIA handler nixed the idea. He cancelled out the idea, saying that there was no way the US would approve an American operative going undercover into bin Laden's camps. Similarly, in June 2001, CIA and FBI analysts from Alex Station met with senior bureau officials, including representatives of its own Al Qaeda unit. The CIA shared 3 photos of individuals who attended the Kuala Lumpur meeting 18 months earlier, including Hazmi and Midhar. However, as an FBI counter-terror officer codenamed CS15 recalled, the dates of the photos and key details about the figures they depicted were not revealed. Instead, the analysts simply asked if the FBI, quote, knew the identities of the individuals in the photos. Another FBI official present, CS12, offers an even more damning account. The Alex Station analysts not only failed to offer biographical information, but falsely implied one of the individuals might be Fahd al-Kuso, a suspect in the bombing of the USS Cole, जो कि US Navy का एक जहाज है, एक ship है. What's more, they outright refused to answer any questions related to the photographs. Nonetheless, it was confirmed that no system was in place to alert the FBI if any of the 3 entered the US, a standard investigative technique for terror suspects. Given Hazmi and Midhar appeared to be simultaneously working for Alex Station in some capacity, the June 2001 meeting may well have been a dangle. No intelligence value could be extracted from inquiring whether the Bureau knew who their assets were. No intelligence value could be extracted from inquiring whether the Bureau knew who their assets were, apart from ascertaining if the FBI's counter-terror team was aware of their identities, physical appearances, and presence in the US. Okay, we don't have to read the entire article because we have other topics to get into depending on how many people stay online. Okay, I'll check some comments once. Ninad is saying, surprise, the person who is sharing this is alive. Yeah, because अभी 2 दिन ही हुआ है, थोड़ा टाइम दो, देखते हैं इनका कोई suicide हो जाता है या नहीं. USA did many evil works. Yes, Rockefeller, Gates Foundation, Rothschild, Buffett are the real controller of USA. उनसे भी ज़्यादा CIA. For the younger viewers, cables are what we used to send messages before SMS. Yes. Tar. Wire. Okay. The next topic of discussion is something insane. I did not know about this. Okay. Check this out. One news is from 2016 and one is an update about that same topic in 2022. Yeah. Check out this 2016 news. We have know about this. Indian liberals don't know about this at all, right? ओबामा भाई साहब ने क्या किया कि 9/11 के जो विक्टिम्स थे उनके फैमिलीज ने डिसाइड किया था कि वो सू करेंगे सऊदी अरेबियन गवर्नमेंट को। ओबामा ने 2016 में उसको वीटो कर दिया कि नहीं नहीं, कोई सू वू नहीं होगा, वी यस वी कैन, हम सू नहीं करेंगे। तो जितना दुख है घर में बैठ के दुख करो, डिप्रेशन का दवाई खाओ, हम सऊदी अरेबिया को सू नहीं करेंगे क्योंकि हमको तो भाई उनसे तेल चाहिए। सो वी नो वन नोज दिस, आई जस्ट डिस्कवर्ड दिस यस्टरडे। But after that, the Senate overwhelmingly rejects Obama veto of Saudi September 11 bill. Okay, but ये था 2016 का बात. We'll get to what happened in 2022. But at that time, Senate I think was already Republican, which is why they rejected the veto. But you have to know this, the true side, the dark side of Obama. Next is what happened in 2022. Yeah, this is from 2022. Okay. America made a deal with the devil as families sue Saudi Arabia. Last best hope for a trial over the terrorist attacks from before a New York judge now. They are still trying to sue Saudi Arabia, and we still haven't sued China for the Kung flu virus, by the way. But this is in 2022, okay? 21 years after the incident. We all know USA loves Saudi Arabian values like free speech and democracy, and Obama was trying to simply help them. Yes, exactly. The US government made a quote unquote deal with the devil, and a tireless group of 9/11 loved ones say they are fighting for their day in the court to finally prove why that was such a horrifically bad decision. No public trial over the September 11, 2001 terrorist attacks has ever been held, though many fought for one. And the last best hope, quote unquote, is playing out in federal court in Manhattan now. The families want to expose how 19 Al Qaeda hijackers, 15 of them Saudi nationals, crashed 4 jets, killing nearly 3,000 in one day, got financial help. They are suing Saudi Arabia to force some type of admission. We want to make history right and correct the narrative, Britt Eagleson told the Boston Herald this week. We want to see Saudi Arabia say it, say they helped the hijackers. Eagleson, who was 15 years old when his dad died when the Twin Towers collapsed 21 years ago today, said newly declassified FBI documents state Omar al Bayoumi was paid a monthly stipend as a co-optee of the Saudi intelligence presidency, Saudi General Intelligence Presidency. That redacted FBI electronic communication shared with the Herald goes on to state the support for that foreign agent came, quote unquote, via then Ambassador Prince Bandar bin Sultan Al Suad. Prince Bandar was Saudi Arabia's ambassador to the US from 1983 to 2005. 2001 में उनको फंड करके 2005 तक यूएसए में बैठा था. Omar al-Bayoumi was a California-based Saudi spy. Declassified FBI documents state, according to multiple reports, the 9/11 Commission never knew this. Great. It is alleged al-Bayoumi helped 9/11 hijackers Nawaf al-Hazmi and Khalid al-Midhar, who were the first to arrive in the US when they landed in Los Angeles in January 2000. So this is 2022's report. So तब तक शायद इनको पता नहीं है कि ये लोग CIA के भी recruits थे. So whether CIA directly helped them do 9/11 or they were double agents, we don't know that as of yet. That Southern California terror cell was exposed years later in an FBI report titled Pent Bomb. They had to have been helped. They couldn't even find their way out of LAX. LAX is Los Angeles airport का नाम है LAX. LAX because they didn't know what an exit sign was. अनपढ़ गवार थे, जाहिल थे, तो exit sign भी पढ़ना नहीं आता है. Said Eagleson. Those first two hijackers would move on to San Diego, where they attempted to train as pilots, not needing to know how to take off or land. सिर्फ उड़ाना है, उड़ा के घुसा देना है. And then ultimately, with a lot of help, boarded Flight 77, slamming it into the Pentagon on 9/11, killing 64 people on the plane and 125 people in the Pentagon. The three other hijacked jets, Flight 11 and Flight 175 out of Logan International Airport in Boston, and Flight 93 out of Newark International Airport, slammed into the Twin Towers and a field in Shanksville, Pennsylvania, respectively on 9/11 in the first act of mass murder. Now, the civil action 9/11 families are pursuing the U.S. District Court for the Southern District of New York. Just finished up limited discovery, and now Saudi officials are preparing to seek a second dismissal of the case. Oral arguments could be set for the spring when the 9/11 families, with 10,000 plaintiffs, join in, could witness the first courtroom accounting of what's been dredged up, or possibly not. Quote, the lawsuit could end in some type of agreement, a payoff, or it will go away, said Kurt Lippold, the former commander of the USS Cole, who is an adjunct professor at the Naval Academy and an expert on terrorism. His destroyer was attacked by terrorists on October 12, 2000, while making a prearranged fuel stop at the port of Aden, Yemen. Lippold said the lawsuit against the Saudis could, quote unquote, keep the pressure on the kingdom to seek more reforms, but the US government remains linked to the nation in the fight against Islamic extremism. It's a harsh recognition that you occasionally have to deal with an unsavory government, he explained, adding the 9/11 families have, quote unquote, suffered an unimaginable loss, but the outcome of the lawsuit is uncertain. Deborah Deborah Burlingame, whose brother was one of the pilots killed on Flight 77, said making the Saudi connections public would be historic. But she said another trial should also get going. The military tribunal at Guantanamo Bay, Cuba, which is their black site, जहाँ पे कोई अमेरिकन लॉज अप्लाई नहीं होता है, कोई ह्यूमन राइट्स का चक्कर नहीं है. The word we're getting is that President Biden wants to shut the trial down with a plea deal and take the death penalty away. Burlingame said, it's been an extremely long haul. Those proceedings won't be open to the public. It remains a death penalty case against 9/11 mastermind Khalid Sheikh Mohammed and four other alleged accomplices. It's ridiculous it's taken this long, said Brian Sullivan, a now retired Federal Aviation Administration official based in Boston, who warned of a terror attack at Logan months before it happened. They all should have been tried and hanged a long time ago, he told the Herald. The 9/11 families, however, are seeing this through. Our government made a deal with the devil, and there's something there we don't know, said Eagleson, who seemed tired but resolute. But it ain't over yet. Okay, let's check some comments again. Nina, yes, absolutely. Women empowerment and religious freedom as well. Bandar, yes. Prince Tasteless Monkey. Lol. Okay, और क्या टॉपिक बाकी है आज का? Okay. Yeah, this is one hilarious thing that Biden said. Okay, check this out. Now we don't know if this is another screw up by Biden, or did he misspeak, or he actually has plans like our underwater metro railway. Biden भाई ने बोल दिया अचानक कि he is going to build a railroad across the Indian Ocean. यूएसए से इंडिया का ट्रेन होगा, ठीक है, समुद्र के ऊपर से या नीचे से वो स्पेसिफाई नहीं किए हैं. तो इसलिए कंजर्वेटिव्स तो मजाक उड़ा रहे हैं, बोल रहे हैं कि ये तो उनका ब्रेन फार्ट हो गया, इसलिए गलती से बोल दिया. मगर अगर सचमुच इंडियन मेट्रो का जैसा कुछ प्लान है, पूरा का पूरा पैसिफिक अटलांटिक सब क्रॉस करके पूरा दुनिया में एक रेल होगा, वन अर्थ वन रेल, ऐसा कुछ ग्रिड जैसा. दिस इज हिलेरियस. लेट मी प्रेजेंट दिस स्क्रीन हियर. Check out the headline, guys. US President Joe Biden mocked for plans to build railroad across Indian Ocean. As soon as Joe Biden's short clip appeared on social media, a torrent of responses followed on social media. Gaffe-prone US President Joe Biden made another blunder this week when he talked about his administration's plans to build a railroad from the Pacific Ocean across the Indian Ocean. Mr. Biden's comments quickly started circulating on social media, where users mocked him, saying it will be a bold initiative. The video of his remarks, posted by several of his critics, have been viewed millions of views. The US president was speaking at the League of Conservation Voters annual Capitol dinner on Wednesday. According to the transcript he addressed published on the White House website, President Biden said, quote, "We have plans to build a railroad from the Pacific all the way across the Indian Ocean. We have to come on, man. We have plans to build in Angola, one of the largest solar plants in the world. I can go on, but I'm not. I'm going off script. I'm going to get in trouble." Members of the audience broke into brief laughter as Mr. Biden continued his speech. As soon as the short clip appeared on social media, a torrent of responses followed. That is going to be a heck of a railroad. Oh, we have plans to build a railroad from the Pacific all the way across the Indian Ocean. Can't wait to take a train to India for my next business trip. Should be great. A third user said on Twitter. Okay, so we don't know if this is serious of a plan or not. Prince Tastes Monkey. Ninja is saying, what is your prediction for USA 2024? I think Trump becomes the Republican nominee. His vice presidential candidate becomes Vivek Ramaswamy, but in the end, Biden will win the presidential election. I think he won't. Trump, I think, won't be able to defeat Biden because liberals who are having a problem with Biden are still too anti-Trump, so they will act against their own interests. Maximus Prime is saying, have you all ever thought Biden has these top secret meetings and actually leaks info due to his dementia? Yes, of course. And I don't think he actually has any clearance. I think someone else is running the show. Okay, then, guys, that's it for today. We had one big thing to discuss, one full reaction video we will have to do, but we'll do it in a different day's live stream because not many people are online, and because that will take about 2 hours, 2.5 hours alone. So we'll do it some other time, which is Ramchandra Guha's 2010 speech, that infamous speech which said that why India will not and should not become a superpower. So I have listened to only half of it. I have not been able to make head or tail out of it, but we will react to that entire video, analyze his arguments, and counter all the bullshit if he argues his case well enough, or otherwise if he's just making random hilarious claims. It's even fun of a thing that we are going to do. It's going to be more fun if he does not really make his case, but we will have to see what exactly he has said in that speech, because I saw about half of it. He did not get to the part why exactly India should not become a superpower, but maybe he said it near the end of the video. So we will have to watch that entire 1 hour 12-minute video and react to it and discuss about that. So we'll do it some other day. Maximus is saying, what about my poems of global issues regarding ice cream? Oh yeah, ice cream, yes. Okay, then, thanks for joining, guys. See you very soon, probably day after tomorrow. Good night.
ऐगिरि नन्दिनि नन्दित मेदिनि विश्वविनोदिनि नन्दिनुते गिरिवरविन्द्य शिरोदिनि वासिनि विष्णुविलासिनि जिष्णुनुते भगवति हेशिति कण्ठकुटुम्बिनि भूरि कुटुम्बिनि भूरि कृते जय जय हे महिषासुरमर्दिनि रम्यकपर्दिनि शैलसुते सुरवरवर्षिणि दुर्गरदर्शिनि दुर्मुखमर्षिणि हर्षरते त्रिभुवनपोषिणि शङ्करतोषिणि किल्बिषमोषिनि घोषरते धनुजनि रोषिनि दितिश्रुतरोषिनि दुर्मसतोषिनि सिन्धुसुते जय जय हे महिषासुरमर्दिनि रम्यकपर्दिनि शैलसुते जय जय हे महिषासुरमर्दिनि रम्यकपर्दिनि शैलसुते जय जय हे महिषासुरमर्दिनि रम्यकपर्दिनि शैलसुते
श्रवरूढं महाभीमं दुराद्रष्टाङ्गरप्रदम् अस्य युक्तं त्रिनेत्रं च कपालकर्णिकाकराम् मुक्तकेशिं नरज्यः पिबन्तीं रुधिरं चतुर्बाहु समायुक्तं वराभयकरं स्मरेत् चतुर्बाहु समायुक्तं वराभयकरं स्मरेत् काली काली महाकाली कालिके पापहारिणी धर्मार्थ मोक्ष देवी काली 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 महाकाली कालिके परमेश्वरी सर्वानंद करे देवी नारायणी नमोस्तुते सर्वानंद करे देवी नारायणी नमोस्तुते सर्वानंद करे देवी नारायणी नमोस्तुते
ঘোরতি মেরো ঘন নিবিড় নিশীথে পীড়িত মূর্ছিত দেশে জাগ্রত ছিল তব অবিচল মঙ্গল নত নয়নে অনিমেষে দুঃস্বপ্নে